So there I was, drowning in a river in 1971 China. Not exactly how I planned my Tuesday. Let me back up. 1 second I'm minding my own business, and the next splash, I'm inside the body of a character from some old novel I read once. A character who, by the way, dies in the first chapter. Yeah, the author couldn't even let me survive the opening scene. I'm basically the literary equivalent of that guy who dies before the movie title shows up. Here's what happened on the ground or in the water. I guess the original Suemo, now me, had been sent to the countryside as an educated youth to do farm labor. City girl, zero muscles, maximum stress. Her professor dad got framed by some backstabber and had to publicly disown her just to keep her safe. So she ended up in this tiny village in the middle of nowhere, harvesting crops until her body gave out. Then she got a letter saying her parents were being sent to a labor camp. While walking back from the clinic, dizzy and heartbroken, she slipped off a bridge and, splush, into the river. Lucky for me, sort of, this military guy named Lu Chongjing happened to be passing by. He jumped in, dragged me out, and started doing CPR, which, naturally, caused absolute chaos among the village aunties. "Why is he touching her chest?" screamed one lady named Suehua, basically accusing this poor soldier of being a pervert while he was literally saving my life. Then when he did mouth-to-mouth, she nearly had a heart attack herself. The drama. You'd think nobody had ever seen first aid before. They hadn't. Anyway, I coughed up half the river, blacked out, and woke up 2 days later in the world's saddest hospital room, peeling walls, cement floors, and a giant portrait of Chairman Mao staring down at me like, "Good morning. Welcome to your new life." And that's when all the original Sumo's memories hit me like a truck. Turns out, my family was actually kind of a big deal. Grandpa was a patriotic capitalist who funded the revolution. Uncle was a military commander. Dad was a university professor. Mom ran a food factory. We had mansions in Shanghai. I was basically Chinese old money royalty. But here's the real kicker, and this is where my blood starts boiling. The novel's heroine, Yang Suyun, was supposed to be my best friend. After I die, she conveniently finds my family's fortune hidden in my suitcase, cash, bank books, property deeds to multiple Shanghai houses, and uses all of IT to start her business empire. She becomes this famous entrepreneur, gets awards, gives speeches thanking everyone who ever handed her a tissue, but somehow never once mentions the dead friend whose entire inheritance she built her empire on. Oh, and it gets worse. In the novel's epilogue, Yang Suyun's dying father confesses that he was the one who reported my dad to the authorities. "I just wanted to teach my buddy a lesson," he says. Teach him a lesson? My whole family ended up destroyed. Parents died in the labor camp. My uncle and cousins died in a war trying to rebuild their careers. The entire Su family wiped out. And Miss Entrepreneur over there is living her best life with my money, married to some high-ranking official, winning Philanthropist of the Year. My fists are clenching just thinking about it. But you know what? Plot twist. I'm Su Mo now. And I am not following the script. Yang family wants my inheritance? Over my dead body. Well, not again. Once was enough. My parents are apparently being held at a labor camp just over the mountain from this village. I'm going to find a way to sneak them food and supplies. We just need to survive the next few years until the political winds change, and everything will be fine. Now, I've read enough transmigration novels to know that people who get ice-guyed into books usually get some kind of cheat ability, a magic system, a pocket dimension, a supernatural green thumb, something. So, do I have one? Checks pockets, looks around dramatically. Stay tuned, I guess. Okay, so first order of business after waking up in a novel, check for cheat codes. I did what any reasonable transmigrator would do. I closed my eyes and screamed, "System," inside my head, over and over, like a lunatic at a customer service hotline. Nothing. Nothing. No blue screen. No robotic voice saying, "Welcome, host." Absolutely zilch. Fine. No system. Cool. Next, I checked my wrists for magical bracelets. Felt my neck for mysterious pendants. Dug through my pockets, looked under the pillow, ransacked the bedside cabinet like a raccoon going through a dumpster. No ancient jade.
No glowing heirloom.
No suspicious ring with a tiny old grandpa living inside it. So no cultivation dimension, no farming paradise, no magical storage necklace.
Great.
I'm a transmigrator on a budget. But then, just out of desperate curiosity, I tried to sense if maybe, just maybe, I had a spatial pocket dimension thingy. And I did. Record scratch, wait. Hold on. I recognized this stuff. This was MY space. From my actual previous life. See, here's the thing I haven't mentioned yet. Before I became a drowned girl in a 1970s novel, I was living in a zombie apocalypse. Yeah. My first life was in an actual end-of-the-world scenario. Zombies, monsters, collapsed society, the whole buffet of nightmares. The space was way smaller than before, like someone took my apartment and shrunk it down to a closet, but all my sad little apocalypse belongings were still in there. My pathetic collection of survival goods that I'd scraped together over 10 years of post-apocalyptic hustle. Not exactly a dragon's hoard, but hey, it's mine. And if the space came with me, then maybe. I reached deeper, feeling for that familiar energy, and yes, my wood element superpower was here too. Weak as a newborn kitten, but present. I literally almost cried. This power was my ride or die. My bread and butter. My whole reason for surviving the apocalypse. See, back in the zombie world, I had a mutant version of plant-growing powers. I could make crops grow super fast and produce way more than other plant power users. The survival base took one look at my skills and basically bubble-wrapped me, stuck me in the agriculture department where I spent my days speed-growing vegetables and selling the extras on the side. Not glamorous, but I was alive and fed, which in zombie world is basically being a millionaire. The only downside? My combat skills were, let's say, decorative, which is exactly why the zombies eventually got me during a siege. One chomp and game over. Hello 1971. But honestly, upgrade. No offense to the apocalypse, but this era is a vacation. Sure, it's poor. Sure, there's political chaos. But you know what there isn't? Flesh-eating undead trying to nibble my face off at 3 a.m.
No mutant monsters.
No desperate humans who've gone feral. Just regular humans doing regular human drama. I survived the zombie apocalypse from age 14. 14. My parents died on day one, society collapsed, and little teenage me had to figure it out with nothing but plant powers and stubbornness. After that, rural 1970s China is basically a spa retreat. Adapt? Fit in? Please. I'm Suemo, professional survivor, champion of making do, queen of, well, at least I'm not dead. So I started planning. And oh boy, there's a lot to plan. Problem 1, the heroine. Yang Suyun, my so-called best friend, whose dad literally destroyed my family. Main characters in novels have plot armor thicker than a tank. If I get too close, her protagonist's luck might steamroll me again. Solution: ghost her. No calls, no letters, no, hey bestie, pretend the postal service doesn't exist. Problem 2, my parents. They're in a labor camp just over the mountain. I need to sneak them food and supplies regularly. My plant powers can handle the food part, but daily necessities? My apocalypse supplies are from the future. I can't exactly hand mom a bottle of shampoo with a barcode on it. I'll need to buy stuff locally, make it look old and worn, and deliver it in small batches so nobody gets suspicious. The camp guards aren't exactly known for minding their own business. Problem 3. Living situation. I'm currently stuck in the educated youth dormitory, which is basically a shared house with zero privacy. Kind of hard to secretly grow magical speed vegetables and maintain an invisible storage dimension when you've got roommates breathing down your neck. I need my own place. But the village leader won't let me move out without a good reason, and I need space for my illegal supernatural farming operation. Probably won't cut it.
Problem 4. Uncle Su.
My uncle, the military commander, has been running around trying to help my dad, and in the original story, his enemies used that against him and got him demoted. I need to write him a letter immediately telling him to stop. Lay low. Play it safe. He's the last pillar holding up the Su family, and if he falls, we're all done for. With him intact, we might even have a shot at getting back to the city someday. Problem 5. My powers are baby-sized. My wood power went from level 6 back to just awakened. At full power, I could grow an apple tree from seed to 3 harvests in one go. Right now, growing a single head of lettuce would take me 3 or 4 tries. It's like going from a sports car back to a tricycle. I need to level up fast by absorbing life energy from plants, quietly, so nobody notices the mysteriously wilting shrubbery. The good news, I know the future. I know exactly when reforms are coming, what businesses will boom, and where the money will be. I just need to survive these next few years, keep my family alive, and then when the economy opens up, boom. Sumo's revenge tour begins. I ran a tiny trickle of my wood energy through my body and instantly felt better. It's not strong enough to heal anyone else, but for self-repair, works like a charm. This body had been running on fumes. Now it felt like I'd had a full night's sleep and a decent meal. I was deep in my scheming when I heard footsteps outside the door and a woman's voice, already annoyed. Big brother, I'm telling you, if she doesn't wake up today, I'm done babysitting. I only took 2 days off. Sounds like my welcoming committee has arrived.
Showtime.
The door swung open and in walked 2 people, and let me tell you, genetics was showing OFF with this family. The guy was basically a walking recruitment poster for the People's Liberation Army. At least 6 feet 1 inch, sharp jawline, intense eyebrows, the whole package. Not the kind of handsome that smacks you in the face immediately, but the kind that moves into your brain and refuses to pay rent. He was wearing a green military uniform and radiating, I could bench press this entire hospital. Energy. Not bad. Not bad at all. His sister was tall too, about 5 feet 7 inches, rocking the classic 1970s look. Plaid shirt, black pants, 2 braids. She had bold features and a no-nonsense vibe. Very people's heroine, chic. Oh hey, you're awake. The girl, Lu Xiaolan, rushed over and propped me up against the headboard like I was a very fragile houseplant. How do you feel? Hungry? I brought you rice porridge. It smells amazing. You should have some. My stomach answered before my mouth could. 2 days without food will do that. Thank you so much, I said with my best grateful smile. I'm sorry for all the trouble these past 2 days. Even while I was unconscious, I'd been vaguely aware that someone was taking care of me. Being sweet costs nothing, and I owed these people my literal life. No need to be polite. We're all revolutionary comrades here. I'm Lu Xiaolan. My dad is the village party secretary. And this is my brother Lu Chongzheng. He's the one who pulled you out of the river. I turned to the tall, silent soldier. Thank you, Comrade Lu. Really, he gave me exactly 1 nod, very economical with his social energy. This one set a lunchbox on the table and walked right back out. Okay then. Man of few words. Noted. Xiaolan filled me in while opening the lunchbox. Apparently I'd been out cold with a fever for 2 full days, and the clinic doctors were about to ship me off to the county hospital if I didn't wake up soon. Autumn harvest is exhausting, she said, spooning porridge into a bowl. You just got here, it's normal you couldn't handle it. Next time it's too much, tell the team leader to give you lighter work. Getting sick costs money and work points, total lose-lose. The smell of that rice porridge hit my nose, and my stomach went full percussion concert. Gurgle. Rumble.
Growl.
I blushed. She laughed. She handed me the bowl. I had just lifted the porridge to my lips when footsteps. Lu Chongzheng came back with the doctor. I stared mournfully at my porridge and set it back down. We'll be together soon, my love. The doctor took my temperature, confirmed my fever was gone, and basically said, you're fine, get out. Hospitals in 1971 don't do the whole rest and recovery thing. Farmers can barely afford medicine, let alone a hospital stay. During harvest season, every bed needs to be empty. The doctor was practically shooing me out with a broom. After he left, I inhaled that porridge in approximately 4 seconds. Then I went to stand up and realized, oh no, I was still wearing a hospital gown. A very loose, very open hospital gown. I hunched my shoulders and crossed my arms. Thank God the original Sumo wasn't exactly generously endowed. Otherwise this would have been a whole different kind of embarrassing.
Xiaolan.
Do you know where my clothes are? I asked, trying to make myself as small as physically possible. She handed me a cloth bag. Everything inside was neatly folded, and smelled faintly of soap. She'd washed all my clothes. This woman is a saint. I peeked under the white shirt on top, and yep, there was my bra. And not just any bra. This was an imported bra that the original Su Mo bought with special foreign exchange coupons at a friendship store in Shanghai. A luxury item. Like 10 yuan a piece. In an era when most women in China didn't even know what a bra looked like. I got dressed. White shirt, black pants, gray Lenin-style jacket on top. Classic intellectual look. I read books, not harvest wheat. September in this northern province was already getting chilly, and as a Shanghai girl, I needed the layers. In the jacket pocket, I found the original Su Mo's leftover money, 8 yuan and 50 cents, dried flat and neatly folded. She'd gone out that fateful day with 10 yuan, spent some on medicine and meat buns at the state canteen, and the rest survived the river swim. The medicine and buns? Fed to the fishes. But the cash made it. Small mercies. Then came the moment of ultimate humiliation. Paying the hospital bill. 2 days of hospitalization. 13 yuan, 43 cents. Most of that was 4 fluids, saline and glucose, plus fever medication. In 1971, for drips are basically luxury healthcare. I had 850. The bill was 1343. I looked at the Lu siblings.
They looked at me. Could I maybe
borrow 5 yuan? I wanted to dissolve into the floor. I'll pay you back as soon as we get to the village. Here's the thing. The original Su Mo actually brought a tion of money to the countryside. Her dad had slipped her 2 savings books with serious cash, and she had over 1,000 yuan in cash from selling her old job position and her personal savings.
1,000 yuan.
In 1971, that's basically Scrooge McDuck money. But it was all back at the dormitory. All I had on me was pocket change and wounded pride. Lu Changzheng reached into his uniform pocket and handed me a 5 yuan note without a word. Not even a flicker of expression. Just here. That's when I noticed his uniform had 4 pockets. In this era, that's significant. Regular soldiers get 2 pockets. Officers get 4. So Mr. Strong and Silent wasn't just a soldier. He was an officer. I filed that information away for later. In the novel, he's probably got some kind of cold commanding officer character arc classic. We walked out of the clinic together, and Xiaolan turned around proudly to gesture at the building behind us. Pretty impressive for a commune clinic, right? Almost as good as the county hospital. Best one in the whole region. Other communes just have 2 mud brick rooms. Anyone seriously sick has to travel to the county. Not us. I looked at the solid brick-and-mortar building and nodded. She had a point, and it confirmed what I already suspected. My dad had done his homework when he arranged for me to come here. He didn't just throw me into any random village. He picked a good commune. Thanks, Dad. Even in crisis, you were looking out for me. All right, I'm heading home, Xiaolan waved. You go back to the village with my brother. You're not coming back to the village? Nope. I'm married now. My husband works at the commune office, and I work at the supply store. We live over here. She was 20, already married, employed at the local shop, and casually saving drowning strangers on her days off. Overachiever.
Oh.
Then I really put you out by making you come take care of me. Stop being so polite. We're revolutionary comrades. I'm just a few steps away. And hey, when you need to buy stuff, come find me at the supply store. She waved and marched off with the confident stride of someone who has never second-guessed anything in her life. Which left me alone with him. Silence. The kind of silence that has its own gravitational pull. I was just opening my mouth to attempt some kind of small talk when Lu Changzheng spoke first. Let's go. I'll give you a ride back. He walked over to a bicycle park nearby, one of those classic flying pigeon bikes, the 28-inch big bar model that's basically the SUV of 1970s China.
Oh.
We're doing this. Okay.
Cool.
Me, on the back of a bicycle, with a handsome military officer I've known for approximately 7 minutes. Just another totally normal day in my new life. Lu Changzheng swung one impossibly long leg over the bicycle, settled onto the seat like he was mounting a warhorse, and nodded at me.
Get on.
I hopped onto the back seat. He pushed off with those ridiculous giraffe legs, and zoom, we were flying down the road like the bike owed him money. I grabbed the rear rack for dear life and then had a horrifying realization. In 1971 rural China, riding on the back of a man's bicycle basically means you're dating him. Could I tuck and roll off the back?
No?
Too late?
Cool.
Okay. I'm technically a sick person fresh out of the hospital. People will understand.
Probably.
Hopefully.
Please.
Because let me tell you, reputation in this era is everything for a woman. One whiff of scandal and suddenly every creep in a 50-mile radius thinks you're fair game, and the village aunties will just shrug and say, well, flies don't land on eggs that don't have cracks. Victim blaming. A timeless classic. Speaking of reputation, I suddenly remembered those voices I heard right before I blacked out in the river. Something about Lu Chongzheng touching me and ruining my virtue. Oh no. Was I already starting this new life on hard mode? I was mid-panic when Lu Chongzheng's voice drifted back through the wind. When I rescued you, I had to perform some emergency procedures. There are already rumors in the village. Okay, here it comes. He's going to suggest we clear things up, maybe make an announcement. If you're willing, we can get married. I nearly launched myself off that bicycle like a human cannonball. Excuse me?
What?
This man pulled me out of a river, did CPR, and now he's offering to marry me? Is this a rescue or a package deal? Save a life, get a wife. Is that how it works in this village? He kept talking, come as you please. Rural villages aren't like Shanghai. Their thinking is traditional. You had no pulse. I had to do chest compressions and mouth to mouth. In the villagers' eyes, I touched you and kissed you. Your reputation is already ruined. Now, here's the thing. My brain immediately split into two warring factions. Team heck yes. Girl, look at him. He's tall, handsome, a military officer, and he's basically proposing on a bicycle. You survived a zombie apocalypse and died. You're inside a novel. Live a little. Grab this man and have your romance arc. Team common sense. He's only proposing out of obligation. A forced marriage won't be happy. You literally just got here. Have some self-respect. Team common sense 1. Barely. Comrade Liu, I understand those were normal medical procedures, I said, being very mature. I'm grateful you saved my life. I can't let you marry me over normal emergency treatment. That wouldn't be fair to you. What happened next, I did not see coming. He slammed the brakes. The bicycle screeched to a stop. Comrade Sue, please get off. Me? I hopped down, confused. He got off too, parked the bike, then, I kid you not, stood at attention and gave me a full military salute.
É portanto como de suemo.
My name is Lu Chongzheng, age 24. High school education. Enlisted at 17. Currently serving as Deputy Battalion Commander of the 11th Regiment, 4th Garrison Division, Shenyang Military Region. I stood there, mouth hanging open, while this man delivered his entire resume to me on the side of a country road like he was applying for a job, which technically he was. Grandfather and both parents are alive and well. For siblings total, 2 older brothers, 1 younger sister, all married. I am in good health, upstanding in conduct, and have no bad habits. Sir, this is a dirt road. Then he dropped the bomb. I want to establish a revolutionary friendship with you. Not because of the rumors. Not on impulse. I thought about it carefully. From the first moment I saw you, Comrade Sue, I was deeply attracted. I hope you will seriously reconsider my request to establish a revolutionary friendship. Translation from 1970s communist flirt speak. I like you.
Please date me. Please.
And this stone-cold, barely speaks in full sentences military officer? His ear tips were bright red. Like traffic light red. Bleeding tomato red. The man was dying inside but delivering his confession with the posture of someone reporting to a general. I almost lost it. You don't even need to get to know me first, I asked. I can get to know you after we're married. Me. Young man. Does your mother know you're out here proposing to strangers on bicycles? What if I was a serial killer? What if I collected toenails? Aren't you afraid I'm a bad person? I believe Comrade Sue is not a bad person, he said, completely deadpan. Apparently his years as a reconnaissance scout gave him some kind of human lie detector ability. Very convenient. Does it have to be marriage right away? I tried. Can't we just date for a while? I'm only 18. I don't want to get married so young. His ears turned even redder. I could practically hear his heart doing backflips. She said date. She didn't say no. We can date for a few days first and then get married. A few days? Sir, that is not what dating for a while means. I meant date for a period of time and then consider whether to get married. Comrade Sue, he said, still at full military attention, Chairman Mao said that romance not aimed at marriage is hooliganism. Is Comrade Sue trying to be a hooligan toward me? He literally quoted Chairman Mao at me as a pickup line. I cannot. I simply cannot. Chairman Mao also said, I shot back, that one should study any matter carefully before making a decision. I don't know you well enough yet. I need to understand you before deciding anything about marriage. Whatever Comrade Sue doesn't understand, just ask me. I guarantee full transparency and will help Comrade Sue understand me as quickly as possible. Fine, I can speedrun getting to know you. But what about your family? Marriage is about two families. Something flickered in his eyes, like he just had a light bulb moment. Probably remembering some poor officer friend whose marriage was a nightmare because of in-law drama. Comrade Sue, are you worried about getting along with my family? Don't worry, my family already built me a separate house. We won't live with them. After we marry, the family will formally divide households. You'll only need to manage our own little home. I'll also work hard to get you approved for military family relocation as soon as possible. Hold on.
Wait. Pause.
How did we go from, should we date, to, here's our housing situation and my 5-year plan for our marriage?
But
I have to admit, my treacherous heart did a little flutter. I'd just been scheming about how to move out of the educated youth dormitory. And here was a man offering me my own house, separate from his family, with built-in privacy for all my secret supernatural farming activities. It was almost too perfect, which made my suspicion radar ping. Were you specifically sent home to find a wife? My tone went cold.
yes.
I came back to meet potential matches and get married if one was suitable. My grandfather is getting old, and his health is declining. He wants to see me married before he goes. At least he was honest. But then, your family already picked someone for you. I felt a flash of irritation. Was I about to be the other woman in a 1970s arranged marriage love triangle? There was a candidate, but I haven't met her yet, so she's not my partner. Now that I've met Comrade Sue, I won't be meeting anyone else. And if I don't want to marry anytime soon, will you just go meet her and marry her instead? Before, I could have married anyone suitable. But after meeting Comrade Sue, I can't anymore. His voice was still perfectly formal, but the words, those were hidden love poetry wrapped in revolutionary vocabulary. If Comrade Sue truly isn't ready, I'll tell my family to wait. My irritation softened. What about your grandfather? I'll tell the old man to hang in there a little longer and wait for his granddaughter-in-law. I burst out laughing. I couldn't help it. This man was a roller coaster. First impression, ice-cold soldier. Second impression, dead serious robot. Third impression, kind of an adorable dork. He saw me laugh, and his eyes lit up like a kid who just won a prize. Then he grinned, and oh no, that grin was trouble. It was part rogue, part charm, all danger. Turns out Mr. Silent Military Officer had a mischievous side. He'd just been nervous this whole time, because, and this is adorable, it was his first confession ever. Comrade Sue, let's head back. Take your time thinking about it. He swung back onto the bicycle and waved me over. Smart man. Don't push too hard. Let the offer marinate. I climbed back onto the bicycle, and as we rode down the country road in the golden September light, I thought, well, Sue Mo, you've been in this novel for approximately 48 hours and you've already drowned, been resurrected, discovered you have superpowers, and received a marriage proposal from a hot military officer on a bicycle. The bicycle ride that would have taken over an hour on foot? Lu Chongjing demolished it in 20 minutes. Those legs weren't just for show. As we cruised past the village headquarters, a group of aunties were sitting by the grain-drying yard, sunning rice and shelling peanuts, the 1970s rural equivalent of a coffee klatch. And right there in the middle, like a spider in her web, was Squareface Auntie herself. The same woman who'd accused Lu Changzheng of being a pervert while he was literally saving my life. Her name, I would soon learn, was Li Suihua. And the moment she spotted me on the back of Lu Changzheng's bicycle, her eyes lit up like she'd just won the village lottery.
So seeking.
"You're back," she bellowed across the yard. Feeling better? I was
Confused.
This woman was treating me like a long-lost daughter. The original Sumo's memories told me nobody in this village had ever been this warm to her. They mostly just side-eyed her for being slow at farm work. "Much better, thank you, Annie," I called back, because manners cost nothing. Then she dropped it. "So, when are you inviting us to the wedding feast?" "I'm sorry, the what now?" Was the entire village just sitting around waiting for me and Lu Changzheng to get married? Did someone send out a memo? Was there a betting pool I didn't know about? Before I could respond, Lu Changzheng, cool as a cucumber on a winter day, answered for us. "In a while." While.
Sir.
"We haven't even agreed to date yet." "In a while?" "You just told a village full of gossip-powered aunties that we're getting married." He didn't even slow down. We zipped past the headquarters and left Suihua standing there, vibrating with joy. Now, here's the thing. To understand why Annie Suihua was so thrilled about me marrying Lu Changzheng, you need to understand the greatest rivalry in the history of Lu family village. A feud so petty, so relentless, so beautifully committed, it makes the Montags and Capulets look like casual acquaintances. I present to you Li Suihua versus Li Yue, a lifetime of losing. Li Yue, by the way, is Lu Changzheng's mother. These two women were born in the 1920s and have been competing since they could walk. Every single life milestone has been a scoreboard. Let me break down the match history. Round 1, childhood. Yue's family was slightly better off. You could tell from the names. Yue, Moon Beauty, is classy. Suihua, Green Flower, is basic. Yue even got 2 years of private school. Suihua stood outside the window eavesdropping. Winner, Yue. Round 2, marriage. Both married into Lu family village. Initially a tie. But then Yue's father-in-law, who'd been off doing revolutionary stuff, came home as a decorated party member and eventually became the village party secretary. Winner, Yue. Round 3, husbands' careers. Yue's father-in-law retired, so Suihua thought it was finally her time. Nope. Yue's husband became the new party secretary. Suihua's husband? Militia captain. Solid gig, but basically the vice president of a book club compared to Yue's husband being president of the whole school.
Winner, Yue.
Round 4, sons in the military. Both sent their youngest sons to the army at the same time. Lu Changzheng, Yue's boy, became an officer. Suihua's son, Lu Xingyou, got discharged after a couple years. Winner, Yue. Again. At this point, Suihua was basically zero for life, but the woman had the tenacity of a cockroach in a nuclear blast. Her son got a job at the county transportation office after leaving the army, 48 yuan a month. Not bad. Suihua strutted around the village like a peacock for weeks. Then she asked her son what Lu Changzheng made at his rank. She spent the next 2 days in bed. But then, finally, her son married a city girl who worked at the county machinery factory, earning 28 yuan a month. 2 wage earners in one household. In the entire village, nobody else had pulled that off. Suihua had found her crown jewel, and she polished it every single day. And then disaster. News arrived that Lu Changzheng was coming home to meet a potential wife. A woman from the military's art troupe. A female soldier. If that marriage happened, Suihua's precious city girl daughter-in-law would be yesterday's news. A factory worker versus a military performer?
No contest.
Suihua was panicking. And then, like a gift from the heavens, I fell into that river. You see it now, don't you? In Suihua's mind, me marrying Lu Changzheng was the best possible outcome. Not for me. Not for Lu Changzheng. For her. Her logic was diabolical. This Sioux girl is a city-educated youth who can't go home because of the political situation. She can't farm, can barely lift a bucket, earns fewer work points than the children. She'll be dead weight on Lu Changzheng's back. Look how skinny and weak she is, probably sickly. Can she even have babies? With Lu Chongjing's build, she might not survive the wedding night. Then Yue's golden boy becomes a widower. Meanwhile, my daughter-in-law is healthy, employed, and earning money. For once in my life, I win. She was so pleased with this fantasy that she started cackling out loud. Right there, in the peanut-shelling circle. Just ha-ha like a cartoon villain. Suehua, why are you so happy about Lu Chongjing getting married? One of the aunties asked, because everyone knew these two women were sworn enemies. Oh, I'm just excited about the wedding feast. Suehua recovered quickly. Haven't had meat in so long. Just the thought makes me happy. True, it has been ages since we had meat. Wonder when they'll slaughter a pig. My family worked so hard this year. Our work point should get us a nice share. But one sharp-eyed auntie wasn't buying it. Wait, Suehua, your family has 2 people earning wages every month. You're telling me your son hasn't bought you any meat? I thought you said they bring you pork every time they visit. OH. Shots fired. The auntie went straight for the jugular. Suehua scrambled. Oh, well, they do bring meat, of course. But there are so many mouths in the family, and I always give the best pieces to the grandkids, so I barely get any myself. Then she pivoted hard. Anyway, Lu Chongjing is a military officer, so you know his wedding feast is going to be amazing. We should all save our appetites. And just like that, the whole group was happily chattering about wedding food, and Suehua had successfully steered the conversation away from her lies and back to her master plan. Meanwhile, I was riding on the back of a bicycle, completely unaware that an entire subplot was unfolding behind me in which a petty village auntie was actively rooting for me to marry her rival's son. Not because she liked me, but because she thought I was so weak and useless that I'd ruin his life and she'd finally beat her nemesis. Truly, I am living in a novel. The side characters have their own whole thing going on, and everything. Lu Chongjing dropped me off at the educated youth dormitory in the most chipper mood I've ever seen on a man who communicates primarily through single nods. Comrade Su, you see, everyone's already waiting for the wedding feast. Should we maybe speed things up a little? I gave him a look. He grinned, that dangerous, roguish grin again, and held up his hands. Whatever Comrade Su says. You name the date, I'll be there. Then he launched into this whole speech about how I should rest, not rush back to work, take care of my body. Autumn harvest is almost done anyway. Meanwhile, inside his head, and I swear I could practically hear the gears turning, this man was already planning our entire wedding. He was probably mentally measuring me for a vanity table, counting furniture legs, drafting telegrams to his commanding officer for marriage approval, planning our wedding photos, calculating how fast he could get promoted so I could move to the military base with him. The man had gone from, I am a stoic military officer, to full wedding planner mode in approximately 45 minutes. He pedaled off in a cloud of dust and enthusiasm, probably to go tell his mother he'd found the one. I stood there watching him disappear and sighed. Was I really going to do this? Just marry a man I met today? But then I ran through the checklist. Handsome?
Check.
Deputy, battalion commander?
Check.
Good salary?
Check.
Own house, separate from in-laws?
Check.
Immediate household division after marriage?
Check.
Gone most of the time, so I can do my secret supernatural stuff in peace? Check, check, check. Even the one downside, him being stationed far away, was actually a feature for me. I needed privacy for my whole growing magic vegetables and maintaining an interdimensional storage closet situation. And he was really easy on the eyes. Suemo, you shallow, shallow woman. I slapped my own cheeks, shook it off, and went inside. The educated youth dormitory was a row of 5 mud brick rooms. Kitchen and common area in the middle, boys on the left, girls on the right. Out front was a big vegetable garden, and in the corner of the garden, a toilet made of straw. Classy. The whole compound was fenced in with bamboo. I found my room from the original Sumo's memories. No locks in the countryside, just a simple door latch. The room was big, with a long heated brick bed platform that could sleep 5 or 6 people. Only 3 of us shared it, so it was pretty spacious. Since we'd arrived right during harvest season, Nobody had time to set up proper furniture. Our storage system was a wooden plank on the floor with luggage piled on it. Very minimalist. I didn't choose this aesthetic. The original sumo's bedding was tragic. A straw mat, a thin sheet, a summer blanket thinner than a politician's promise, and no pillow. How this pampered Shanghai princess survived even 2 weeks on this setup, I will never know. But enough about the sad bed. It was time for the main event. Inventory check. The original Sumo had brought 2 locked leather suitcases. One big, one small. I fished the keys out of a hidden pocket, and my hands were actually trembling as I opened the big one. Because inside the lining were the savings books. The ones that, in the novel, funded an entire business empire. The ones that the heroine, Yang Soon, pocketed after my death and rode all the way to billionaire status. Ladies and gentlemen, the moment of truth. The first savings book was newer, orange cover, Chairman Mao quote on the front, very 1970s chic. It was under my mom's name, Mo Euron. 3 deposits, no withdrawals. 2,000 yuan in January 1970, 500 in October 1970, and 500 in June 1971. Total, 3,000 yuan. In an era where 100 yuan was considered a lot of money, 3,000 was a small fortune.
Nice.
But that was just the appetizer. I opened the older book, rougher paper, clearly from the 1950s, and the account holder was my grandfather, Su Zhongli. The first deposit was from 1957. It was the dividend payout from when the government absorbed private businesses. Just that first entry? Over 20,000 yuan. My jaw hit the floor. There were pages and pages of records after that. Deposits piling up for years. But then in 1960, 61, and 62, the 3 years of natural disaster, there were massive withdrawals. Grandpa Su had used his connections to buy food from overseas and donated it to starving people in the area. The effort broke his health, and he passed away in 1963. Half the important officials in Shanghai came to his funeral. After the disaster withdrawals, what remained in the account through 1966 was still nearly 80,000 yuan.
80,000 yuan.
In 1971. To put that in perspective, a factory worker made about 30 to 40 yuan a month. 80,000 yuan in this era is like, I don't know, 80 million in the future? More? I could buy this entire county money. It's swimming pool full of cash money. It's insane. And in the original novel, Yang Soo-yoon took all of this and used it to launch her business empire. In an era when the economy was opening up and opportunities were literally lying on the ground waiting to be picked up, she had 80,000 yuan of startup capital. A pig could have become a billionaire with that money in that economy. My fists clenched so hard my knuckles cracked. And the worst part? When Yang Soo-yoon found these savings books, my uncle, the military commander, was still alive. She could have returned them. She knew my family. Her own father knew my uncle personally. She had every means to give the money back to its rightful owners. But she kept it. Every last yuan. Built her empire on a dead girl's inheritance. Then went on TV giving speeches about gratitude and hard work, thanking every random person who ever lent her a pencil, while never once mentioning the family whose entire fortune she'd swallowed. And her dad was the one who reported my dad to the authorities in the first place. The audacity. The absolute caucasity. The lion, the witch, and the audacity of this. Deep breath, Sumo. Deep breath. From this moment forward, Yang Soo-yoon is cancelled.
Permanently.
Irrevocably. I am now a certified Yang Soo-yoon anti-fan. Moving on before I burst a blood vessel. I counted up the rest of the original Sumo's cash, 1,035 yuan and 40 cents. Minus the 5 yuan I owed Liu Chongzheng, so 1,030.40. Still rich by village standards. Then I tackled the tickets and coupons. Oh boy, there were a lot. A fat stack of every kind imaginable. Foreign exchange coupons, industrial coupons, grain tickets, meat tickets, oil tickets, vegetable tickets, sugar tickets, cloth tickets, shoe tickets, cotton tickets, even milk powder tickets, and a watch ticket. The catch? Most of them were Shanghai specific. Basically useless out here in the frozen north. In 1971 China, money without tickets is just fancy paper. You need the right coupon for literally everything: food, clothes, soap, you name it. No ticket, no purchase. Sorry, comrade. Which meant if I wanted to buy anything useful around here, I'd probably have to venture into the black market. I'd have to figure out how to convert my Shanghai paper into local currency. Because right now, I was technically a millionaire who couldn't buy a bar of soap. Rich Girl Problems, 1970s edition. After tucking away the savings books and property deeds into my spatial pocket dimension, casual Tuesday activities, I turned my attention to the original Sumo's wardrobe situation. And boy, this girl packed for Paris vacation, not rural farmland in northeast China. 2 long wool coats, several dresses, nice blouses, sweaters, pants made of fabric so soft it probably had feelings, 4 sets of matching underwear imported from the Shanghai Friendship Store, purchased with special foreign exchange coupons, 3 pairs of little leather shoes, a trendy polyester shirt she bought on impulse, tried on once, decided it was uncomfortable, and brought anyway because fashion emergency? She also packed hair ties, hair clips, face cream, hair oil, fancy soap, an eyebrow pencil, and, I kid you not, a lipstick.
Mom.
You were sent to farm in northeastern China, where winter will freeze your soul, and you brought a lipstick. The only practical items were 2 sets of blue work clothes and canvas shoes she'd panic bought right before leaving Shanghai. Those 2 outfits had been carrying the entire workload for 2 weeks straight. Literally. As for winter gear, cotton padded jacket?
Nope.
Padded pants?
Nope.
Warm boots?
Nope.
Thick quilt?
Nope.
This Shanghai princess was heading into a Manchurian winter with summer blankets and leather pumps. She had cotton coupons, so she'd probably planned to buy cotton here and have someone make winter clothes. But then, the whole falling into a river and dying thing got in the way. Daily necessities? She'd brought 2 towels, a lunchbox, and a water bottle, strictly trained survival kit.
No basing, no tô truxo, no tô te paste.
She'd been borrowing other people's wash basins for 2 weeks and rinsing her mouth with plain water, like some kind of medieval peasant. And then she fell in a river.
So,
how clean were we, exactly? I grabbed a small mirror from nearby and took my first real look at my new face. Oh ho ho, hello, gorgeous. I mean, I knew from the memories that the original Sumo was pretty, but this? Delicate willow leaf eyebrows, romantic peach blossom eyes, perfect little nose, rosebud lips that were naturally pink without any lipstick, so that's why she packed one, gilding the lily, this one. Classic southern beauty. Skin so pale and smooth it was practically luminous, even after 2 weeks of hard labor and a near-death river experience. The slight exhaustion on her face just made her look like a tragic heroine in a painting, the kind that makes men want to wrap you in cotton wool. No wonder Lu Chongjing took one look and started planning a wedding. Men. So predictable. Now, the original Sumo and I actually looked about 60 to 70% similar. But in the apocalypse, I'd hidden behind thick bangs and chunky glasses to look as unattractive as possible. Safety strategy. So discovering I was now openly, undeniably beautiful? Yeah, I stared at myself in that mirror for a little longer than strictly necessary. Don't judge me. A girl's allowed to appreciate her own face. Okay. Self-admiration session over. Time for the real inventory. I double-checked that nobody was around, latched the door, and with a dramatic wave of my hand, dumped everything from my spatial dimension onto the floor. See, my space isn't one of those fancy ones with built-in shelving and holographic inventory screens. It's basically a magical junk drawer. And now that it had shrunk, everything was piled on top of everything else like an apocalypse-themed game of Jenga. The only way to organize was to take it all out and put it back properly. Here's what Apocalypse Sumo had been hoarding for 10 years. Food department. Rice and flour. A few hundred pounds total. Several boxes of instant noodle cakes and rice noodles. Multiple big jugs of peanut oil, 6-liter size. A respectable collection of cured meats and sausages. A bunch of canned meat. And the crown jewels, 2 of those massive 10-pound premium hams.
The fancy brand.
In the apocalypse, these were basically gold bars you could eat. Fresh meat?
0.
By the time I'd awakened my space ability, fresh meat was rarer than unicorn steaks. The few times I scored some, I inhaled it on the spot. Seasonings and spices? Multiple boxes. Listen, when you're stuck in a survival base with nothing to do, you become a foodie by default. I had collected every spice known to mankind. Salt, soy sauce, chili flakes, star anise, cinnamon, Sichuan peppercorns. I had a better stocked spice rack than most restaurants. A few cans of powdered milk for nutrition. Some candy and cookies, but not much. Daily necessities department. Bedding, full sets, more than 2, including a down comforter. Take that, straw mat and summer blanket situation. Towels, toothbrushes, toothpaste, shampoo, body wash stocked up. Enough for years. I was a doomsday prepper before doomsday even happened. Well, technically after doomsday, but you get the point. Feminine products, 6.5 packs left. This was concerning. No way to replace these in 1971 China. I'd need to figure something out eventually. Skincare and makeup, plenty. I needed it for my ugly disguise back in zombie world, so I'd kept a good supply. 3 rechargeable desk lamps. A full set of kitchen equipment. Clothing department, mostly baggy, gender-neutral sportswear. In the apocalypse, looking like a woman could get you killed, so my entire wardrobe screamed, "I am a shapeless potato, please ignore me." Not much variety, but everything was durable. Compared to other transmigrators and novels, I was basically the budget version. But every single item in that space was earned through years of growing and selling magical produce. It wasn't much, but it was honest work. Library department. Books. Lots of them. See, I was 14 when the apocalypse hit, just about to apply to a gifted program at Tsinghua University. Smarty pants kid with big dreams, all crushed by zombies. Once the base stabilized, I'd traded for textbooks and studied on my own. Also collected random useful books and, naturally, a pile of novels for entertainment. Including the very novel I was now living in. I frantically dug through my book collection looking for it. Flipped through everything. Searched twice. It was gone. The one book that could have been my complete cheat sheet walkthrough guide to this entire world vanished.
Poof.
Disappeared the moment I entered it. Are you kidding me? What kind of cosmic troll deletes your strategy guide right when you need it? I was livid. You sneaky, backstabbing universe. But I did find some history books about this era, plus a random book called Essential Skills for Time Travelers. I set those aside for urgent reading. Better than nothing. Barely. Tech department. 1 outdoor solar panel setup, 800W, with a rechargeable battery pack. This baby cost me years of savings in the apocalypse. In good sunlight, 2 to 2.5 hours of charging gave me over a month of nighttime lighting. Absolute treasure. Miscellaneous. A massive collection of crop seeds, professional habit. A mountain of fruits I'd grown for selling, currently taking up 2/3 of my shrunken space. I really need to offload these. A machete and an electric stun baton from my apocalypse self-defense kit. Various odds and ends. So that was it. My entire net worth across 2 lifetimes, spread across a brick bed platform in a mud house in 1971 rural China. I packed everything back into the space, nice and organized this time, then checked the original Sumo's wristwatch. Almost quitting time, the other educated youth would be coming back from the field soon. First priority, bath. I hadn't washed my hair since my dip in the river, and I could practically feel things growing in it. Starting a fire was easy. In the apocalypse, we common folk didn't have electric stoves. I was a professional woodburner. While the water heated, I wandered into the vegetable garden, pretending to pull weeds. What I was actually doing was absorbing the life energy from the grass through my wood element power. Each little weed was a tiny battery. I grabbed them one by one, and they shriveled up in my hands in seconds, drained of all their plant energy, turning dry and brittle. Then I yanked them out by the roots, nice and easy. In minutes, I'd cleared every weed from the entire garden and surrounding area. The place had never looked so tidy. And I'd gotten a nice little energy boost. I gathered up the dead grass, now conveniently pre-dried, and tossed it into the kitchen fire as extra fuel. Waste not, want not. My weeds, my fuel, my energy. The circle of life, Su and Mo edition. The bathroom at the dormitory was a mud brick cubicle in the corner of the kitchen. 5 stars on TripAdvisor, obviously. But when that hot water hit my scalp,
pure, bliss.
I may be a broke transmigrator with a shrunken magic closet and a revenge plot to orchestrate, but at least I was a clean broke transmigrator. Fresh out of my glorious bath, I sat by the door toweling my hair dry and doing what I do best, scheming. Let's take an honest look at my financial situation, shall we? On paper, I'm loaded. In reality, I'm broke with extra steps. The savings books? Both tied to Shanghai banks. In 1971 China, you can't withdraw money across provinces. So my 80,000 yuan grandpa fund and 3,000 yuan parents fund are basically decorative. The grandpa money belongs to dad and uncle anyway, not mine to spend. And the parent savings I'm keeping untouched, so they'll have something when they eventually get out of that labor camp. That leaves me with 1,030 yuan of actual spending money. Sounds like a lot, right?
Wrong.
Black market prices in this era are insane. Without proper ration tickets, everything costs triple. At that burn rate, my cash pile would evaporate in a few years. And I've got big plans. When the college entrance exam comes back in 1977, I'm taking it. I'm getting into Tsinghua University, the dream I never got to chase because zombies ate my future at age 14. Then when economic reforms hit, I'm buying property, starting businesses, and building a dynasty, all of which requires capital.
So,
how does a superpowered time traveler make money in 1971 rural China? Money Plan 1. Magical ginseng, the secret income. My first idea, grow fruits and vegetables with my plant powers and sell them, was underwhelming. Produce is cheap in this era. Selling cabbages at the black market would be like trying to fill a swimming pool with a teaspoon. But then my brain went, what's expensive and grows in northeast China? Wild ginseng. 1 root of wild mountain ginseng goes for 100 to 200 yuan. If I could find even 1 wild ginseng root, I could use my powers to cultivate it, then sell a few roots per year. That's basically a government salary without the government. The beauty is that ginseng is a plant, my specialty, my whole thing. I can speed grow it like nobody else. Find 1 root in the mountains, propagate it in secret, and suddenly I'm the underground ginseng queen of northeast China. But this income has to stay off the books. If anyone found out a skinny city girl was somehow producing premium wild ginseng, the questions would never stop. Which brings me to Money Plan 2. Writing for newspapers, the legit income, I need a public, respectable income source. Something that explains why I'm doing okay, without raising eyebrows. Turns out the original Su Mo was actually talented at something useful, writing. Back in Shanghai, she'd been a propaganda officer at a textile factory with genuinely good writing skills. She regularly submitted articles to newspapers and almost never got rejected. One editor liked her so much, he got her registered as a freelance correspondent, which meant she could actually receive payment instead of just getting a copy of the newspaper and a pat on the head. Last month alone, she'd earned over 20 yuan in writing fees. That's not bad. Now, the original Su Mo was a good writer, but I have something she didn't. A head full of future knowledge. I remember my book collection in the space, including several volumes of Greatest Quotes from the People's Daily and a brain full of inspirational songs and slogans from the future. With a little studying and some era-appropriate packaging, I could absolutely churn out articles that editors would eat up. Plus, having articles published in official newspapers would boost my reputation in the village. People would respect me. If a teaching position or any cushy indoor job opened up, I'd have the credentials to compete for it. Because, let me be real, I can pull weeds and putter around a garden with my plant powers, but real farm labor? The backbreaking, haul rocks and dig ditches kind? My noodle arms would snap, like breadsticks. I need an exit strategy from manual labor, and being a published writer is a pretty good one. Money Plan 3. Translation work, the future income. Here's where knowing the future really pays off. In 1972, literally next year, President Nixon is going to visit China. When that happens, the state media will start publishing American novels and articles as a diplomatic signal. They'll need translators. And guess who's bilingual? The original Sue Mo learned some English from her dad, who'd studied abroad. And MY English? Fluent. In the apocalypse, I'd had nothing but time and textbooks. Between both our language skills, I could easily pick up translation contracts from newspapers. The backstory even checks out perfectly. The original Sue Mo's great-uncle had emigrated abroad years ago and regularly sent foreign books back to the family. Everyone in her circle knew the Sue family had foreign connections and language skills. Nobody would think twice about her knowing English. So there it was. The three-step master plan: secret ginseng sales for real money, published writing for reputation and pocket cash, future translation work for even more income and prestige. Not bad for someone who was dead 24 hours ago. Now, shopping. My parents were going to be sent to the labor camp at the neighboring village in about 2 weeks. And if the original Sue Mo came to the countryside completely unprepared for winter, her parents' situation would be even worse. I needed to get them cold weather gear. Cotton padded jackets, pants, quilts, the works. I had cotton coupons, but not nearly enough for everything. I'd need to source more cotton somewhere. And here's a fun problem. I don't know how to make padded winter clothes. I'd need to learn. For my parents' stuff, I could hire someone, and if anyone asked why I was making so many quilts, I'd just say they were for my wedding trousseau. Because apparently I'm getting married now? When did I fully commit to this? Oh well. At least the cover story is useful. Tomorrow's plan: take a day off, go to the county town, buy everything on my list, find a gift for Lu Xiaolan to thank her for playing nurse for 2 days. As for thanking Lu Changzhen,
Well,
I'm giving him me. I think that covers it. Sue Mo, you are shameless. Before bed, I sat down with pen and paper and wrote a letter to Uncle Sue. Tomorrow I'd mail it from the county post office. No phone calls. In this era, telephone calls get routed through multiple operators, and any one of them could be listening. A letter is safer. I kept it vague but clear. I heard from Yongxian that Mom and Dad might be sent to the village next to mine. I'll find a way to take care of them. Please stop running around trying to help. You're exposing yourself to your enemies. Lie low. You're the last pillar of this family, and we need you standing. Oh, and one more thing. Great-uncle's annual overseas money transfer should be arriving soon. Make sure someone collects it before anyone else gets ideas. Because even in political chaos, the government never turned down foreign money coming in. That remittance was untouchable, and it was ours. Letter sealed. Plan set. Bath taken. Brain buzzing. Tomorrow I shop. Next week I scheme. Next year I translate. In 5 years I take that exam. In 10 years, I build an empire. Watch out, Yongxian. There's a new Sue Mo in town, and this one doesn't drown. Now, I wasn't there for this next part. But based on what I pieced together later, here's what went down at the Liu household that evening, and honestly, it deserves its own sitcom. Lu Changzhen, fresh from his bicycle proposal tour, zoomed over to the fields to help his mother finish her work. Li Wei, his mom, was out there pulling peanuts, which is light work, but she was thrilled to see her golden boy show up. And, boy, was she proud of him. Her youngest son, handsome, smart, a self-made military officer who'd climbed the ranks with 0 connections and nothing but grit. Sure, he had some scars from his service, and yes, it broke her heart a little, but that was her boy. Her best boy. She finished up, logged her 7 work points for the day, and the two of them walked home together. A lovely mother-son bonding moment, which lasted approximately 90 seconds. So, Li Wei said cheerfully, get yourself ready for the matchmaking meeting. The girls from the military art troupe, perfect fit for you. Mom, I'm not doing the matchmaking.
I'm dating Suziking. Record scratch.
Freeze frame. Li Wei nearly levitated off the ground. What? She scrambled for an explanation. Is this because of those gossiping hags in the village? Don't you worry about them. I'll go rip their mouths off myself. The commune leaders have been educating people about these backwards attitudes. It's not about the gossip. I like Su Jiqing. Li Yue felt 1,000 words jam up in her throat like a traffic accident. She stood there, mouth opening and closing, until finally one sentence squeezed out. You. How can you like her? What's wrong with her? I think she's great. Now, here's the thing about Li Yue. She wasn't stupid. She'd been married to the village party secretary for decades. She listened when her husband and father-in-law discussed the news. She had opinions. And her opinion of me? Not great. Sure, I was pretty. But in her mind, pretty was basically a red flag. There's an old Chinese saying, beautiful women have tragic fates. Li Yue took one look at my delicate little Shanghai face and saw trouble. A pampered city girl who'd clearly been spoiled rotten, whose family had obviously gotten into some political mess. Why else would she be sent to the countryside? And who looked like she'd shatter if a strong breeze hit her. She was thinking, this girl could ruin my son's career. This girl can't work. This girl looks like she'd die from a paper cut. And she's too pretty. That never ends well. In summary, Li Yue thought I was a beautiful disaster waiting to happen. Chongjing maybe. Think about this a little more, she said, her mouth tasting like she'd bitten into a lemon. She knew her youngest. Once he decided something, trying to change his mind was like trying to stop a train with a paper fan. This Su girl clearly can't do farm work. She's not suited for our Lu family, and then Lu Chongjing dropped this bomb. If she can't do farm work, then she won't. I'm not planning to make her do any. My military salary is enough to support her. She just needs to take care of our little household. Li Yue's voice went up about 3 octaves. Excuse me? She'd raised this boy from birth. Fed him, clothed him, worked the fields until her back ached, and he had never once said, Mom, you don't have to work. But one glance at some pretty stranger, and suddenly he's playing sugar daddy? They really do say it. Get a wife, forget your mother. The audacity of this child she birthed. Li Yue was genuinely angry now.
Fine.
What about the matchmaking? The girl was recommended by the Commune Women's Federation director. Just tell them I already have a girlfriend, so I won't be going. You can't just... Li Yue was thinking strategically. Maybe, just maybe, if she could get him to that matchmaking meeting, he'd see the other girl and change his mind. Was it kind of underhanded?
Yes.
Did she care? Absolutely not. She'd rather her son be a jerk than married to me. Mom, the entire country is cracking down on misconduct right now. You want me to go meet another woman when I already have a girlfriend? If anyone found out, I could lose my uniform. Li Yue's blood ran cold. I'm not trying to make you mess up your career. Well, it's probably too late anyway. When I rode Su Mo back to the village, we passed right by the headquarters. All the peanut shelling aunties saw us. Li Yue felt the blood rush to her head so fast, she almost passed out. He did that on purpose. The road to the educated youth dormitory doesn't even go past the headquarters. He'd taken a detour just so the entire village gossip network would see them together. And then she remembered who was shelling peanuts at the headquarters today. Li Guihua. Her nemesis. Li Tsuehua, who'd been waiting her entire life to see Li Yue lose. Li Tsuehua, who would rather eat glass than miss an opportunity to gloat. Li Tsuehua, who by now had definitely told every breathing human in the village that Lu Chongjing was marrying that skinny, useless city girl. Li Yue's vision went dark around the edges. The matchmaking meeting was dead, which meant she'd offended the Women's Federation director for nothing. She'd been eyeing the village women's director position for when the current one retired. That dream was now smoldering in a ditch. All because her son fell in love on a bicycle. So, when exactly are you planning to marry this girl? Li Yue asked through gritted teeth, making one last stand. We'll date for a couple days, then you go propose to her and we'll get the marriage certificate. A couple of days? Will she even agree to that? Li Yue knew how city-educated youth operated. They didn't just see someone cute and sprint to the marriage office. They dated for 6 months, a year, went through revolutionary testing of their relationship, the whole song and dance. No way would this precious Shanghai princess agree to a rush job. She's very reasonable, Lu Chongjing said, with the unearned confidence of a man who'd been rejected approximately 0 times in his life. Our family situation is special. She'll understand. She'll understand. Oh, the beautiful delusion of a 24-year-old man in love. Meanwhile, back at the dormitory, I was completely unaware that my future mother-in-law already considered me a career-destroying, farm work-dodging, too pretty to be trustworthy harbinger of doom. Off to a great start with the in-laws. I finished writing my letter to Uncle Sue and stepped outside. Nobody was back yet, probably still out helping the new educated youth finish their work. See, here's how it works at the dormitory. There are 11 of us total, 6 guys and 5 girls. My batch, the newbies, is 5 people, and we arrived right smack in the middle of autumn harvest with 0 training. We're basically baby deer trying to run a marathon. Every day, we can't finish our tasks, and the veteran educated youth have to do their own work first, and then come help us. Are they happy about it? Absolutely not. But they do it anyway because educated youth in the countryside are basically a team. If we don't stick together, the villagers will walk all over us. Plus, there's a very practical reason. If we newbies don't earn enough work points during harvest, we won't get enough grain rations. And when we run out of food, guess whose door we'll be knocking on? The veterans. And they barely have enough for themselves. So they help us out of pure self-preservation disguised as revolutionary camaraderie. Still, I owed them. The original sumo had been the absolute worst worker of all the newbies, dead last rock bottom. Are you even trying level? Everyone had helped her at some point. Time to pay that debt. I pulled out the last of my apocalypse rice, about 2 pounds, dumped it in a basin, and added 2 bowls of corn grits. Rice and corn porridge coming right up. Then I raided the vegetable garden for 3 big cabbages and some tomatoes, and sneakily pulled a slab of cured pork from my spatial dimension, a little over a pound. Stir-fried cured pork with cabbage, a dish so good it could make a grown man weep in 1971. For the tomatoes, I sliced them up and sprinkled white sugar on top. Simple cold dish. Revolutionary dessert. This meal? In this era, this was basically Christmas dinner. Rice porridge, meat, and something sweet? Most families only ate this well during spring festival. When the educated youth came trudging back from the fields, they smelled the meat from halfway down the road. I could practically see their nostrils flaring like cartoon wolves. 11 exhausted, starving people suddenly found the energy to sprint to the kitchen. My roommate Ma Xiaowan got there first, bouncing with excitement. "Sumo, you're back. Is that braised pork?" "It smells so good. Not braised pork, it's cured pork I brought from home. Figured everyone's been working so hard, I'd make a nice meal to say thanks for all the help." The veteran educated youth heard, "Thanks for the help," and visibly relaxed. Finally someone acknowledged their suffering. They'd been grinding their teeth about carrying us newbies for weeks, and here I was, acknowledging the debt and paying it in meat. Ma Jianmen, the group leader, smiled graciously. "We're all revolutionary comrades here. Helping each other is what we do." Translation: I've been wanting to complain for weeks, but now you've given me pork, so I'll shut up. My roommate Chinlon watched me plate the food and gasped, "Sumo, I had no idea you could cook." Fair point. Looking at delicate little me, you'd assume I'd never touched a kitchen utensil. But honey, I spent 10 years in the apocalypse with nothing to do but grow vegetables and figure out how to make them taste good. My knife skills could put a restaurant chef to shame. I sliced the cured pork paper thin, each piece practically translucent, and tossed it with tender green cabbage. The dish looked like it belonged in a magazine, if magazines existed in this village, which they didn't. "Oh my god, Sumo, how much meat did you put in?" Zheng Kaiping, one of the veteran girls, practically shrieked. "About a pound or so." "A pound? And you used it all at once?" She looked at me like I'd just set money on fire. "Everyone's lost weight during harvest. I wanted to make sure there was enough for a proper meal." "Kaiping, the woman is feeding you free meat and you're complaining about portion sizes?
Sit down and eat."
"Some of us are starving." That was Zhao Guoping, one of the guys who was clearly too tired and hungry for diplomacy. Someone lifted the lid on the other pot. Rice porridge. The room went dead silent for 1 second. Then 11 people simultaneously bolted to their rooms to grab their lunch boxes, practically shoving each other out of the way. The veterans hadn't had rice porridge since the last holiday. This was sacred. What followed was the quietest meal in educated youth history. Nobody spoke. Nobody looked up. Chopsticks moved at superhuman speed. It was like watching a nature documentary about piranhas, except with better table manners.
Barely.
The pork and cabbage evaporated. The porridge vanished. The tomatoes sat there ignored for the entire meal. Nobody was wasting stomach space on vegetables when there was meat. Until finally, near the end, someone tried a piece. Wait, this is sweet. You put sugar on it? I nodded. A little white sugar. Chopsticks descended on the tomatoes like a flock of hungry birds. Gone in seconds. Even the sugary juice at the bottom of the plate got divided among the guys and poured into their porridge bowls. I'd been sneaky about the sugar. My apocalypse-era white sugar was finer and whiter than anything available in 1971, so I'd sprinkled it on early and let it dissolve completely before anyone saw. No evidence. Perfect crime. After dinner, everyone thanked me with the kind of warmth that only comes from a full belly, then boiled water, washed up, and collapsed into bed. As for the mandatory political study sessions, yeah, those could wait until after harvest. Everyone was too dead to discuss Marxism. I sat for a bit, then went to my room. No electricity in the village. We used kerosene lamps. Our room had one lamp, borrowed kerosene, and 3 people. The lighting situation was basically, you can confirm that objects exist. Reading was out of the question. I laid out my bedding and was about to sleep when Shawan came back from her bath and leaned in close. What did you put on? You smell amazing. My heart stuttered. Rookie mistake. I'd used my Apocalypse-era shampoo. The Future Tech fragrance was way too good compared to anything available in 1971. Might as well have washed my hair with bottled suspicion.
Hair oil, I said casually.
Got it at the friendship store. Shawan bought it immediately. She'd seen my imported clothes when I was unpacking. She knew I had access to fancy goods. Her own family was pretty well off too. She'd come to the countryside voluntarily, so her siblings wouldn't have to. Her family sent her money every month, so she wasn't exactly suffering. In the bad at farm work rankings, she was solidly second to last, right above original Sue Mo's rock bottom position. The difference? I genuinely couldn't do heavy labor. Shawan absolutely could. She just preferred not to. Professional slacker. The team leader saw right through her, which is why when she'd tried to get time off to take care of me at the hospital, he'd flatly refused. If one of the harder-working girls had asked, he would have approved it in a heartbeat. I heard some rumors in the village, Shawan said, her voice dropping to concerned friend mode. You're not actually going to marry that soldier, are you? We're dating, actually. What? She grabbed my arm. Did he pressure you? We can go to the commune leaders together. Those were normal medical procedures, you don't have to. He didn't pressure me. He's actually a good person. But if you marry him, you might be stuck in the countryside forever. The countryside isn't so bad sometimes. I changed the subject before she could dig deeper. Harvest must be almost done, right? She took the hint and pivoted. The peanuts were the last big task, then it was just drying and storing grain before paying the government's share. Then she had an idea. Hey, should I also buy some meat and treat everyone after harvest? Like you did. If you can afford it, I think it's a good idea. We really have been a burden on the veterans. Great. I'll go to the supply store and get some pork, maybe some cake. Hey, can we do it together? Chunlan walked in just in time. Her family wasn't as well off, so she couldn't afford a solo thank you dinner. Sure, let's pool our money and do it together. And just like that, the newbie educated youth gratitude dinner was booked. I lay down on my straw mat with its pathetic thin blanket, staring at the ceiling in the near darkness. Tomorrow, county town shopping spree. Letter to uncle. Supplies for my parents. A gift for Lu Xiaolan. And somehow, figure out how to navigate a 1970s rural courtship with a man who thinks dating for a few days counts as taking things slow.
But tonight?
Full bellies, warm feelings, and the faint smell of future shampoo in my hair. Not a bad day for a dead woman. Once again, I wasn't physically present for this scene, but I eventually got the full download. And let me tell you, the Lu family dinner was a production. Picture this. 13 people crammed around one big round table, demolishing food like it was an Olympic event. The menu: steamed buns made with a mix of corn flour and white flour, extra white flour tonight because the golden child was home. Egg drop soup, stewed. Eggplant with green beans featuring precious bits of pork fat cracklings, and braised radish with fish, which Lu Chongjing had personally caught from the river that morning. Because apparently he's not just a soldier and a romantic cyclist, he's also a fisherman. Li Yue portioned out the buns with military precision. 2 per adult, 1 per kid, 3 for Lu Chongjing because he was the prodigal son. Even though the Lu family was better off than most in the village, she ran that household like a wartime supply officer. The 3-year famine in the early 60s had traumatized her into hoarding grain every year, just in case nature decided to throw another tantrum. Now let me paint the family portrait. Grandpa Lu Boming, a tough-as-nails war veteran who'd fought the Japanese and still tried to sit ramrods straight despite being old and sick. Dad Lu Qing'an, the village party secretary, quiet and observant. Mom Li Yue, whom we've already met, and who currently wanted to strangle her youngest son. Big brother Lu Xingjuan, married with 3 kids, 5 mouths to feed. Second brother Lu Weigua, married with 2 kids, 4 mouths total. Their house was one of the nicest in the village, a proper brick and tile compound. 5 rooms across the front, living room in the center, parents on one side, grandpa and kitchen on the other. 3 rooms on each wing for the 2 older brothers' families. Brick courtyard in the middle. Vegetable garden out front. Their own well. By village standards, this was basically a mansion. And then there was Lu Chongjing's house. See, when they'd built the family compound a couple years ago, there wasn't enough room for a 4th unit. So they'd built Lu Chongjing a separate house nearby with his blessing. The man had heard about his commanding officer's mother-in-law nightmare and was thrilled to have an excuse to live apart. And because Lu Chongjing had been sending money home for years like a good son, his separate house was actually fancier than the main compound. Cement floors. Whitewash walls made with a proper lime cement sand mix that didn't flake. A ceiling. Actual wooden boards under the roof for insulation. It was the nicest house in the entire village. 3 brick rooms, a storage shed, a clean outhouse, and its own well. Some villagers had told Dad Lu it was wasteful to dig a separate well for a son who was rarely home. But Lu Qing'an had standards. His son was an officer. An officer shouldn't have to haul water from someone else's well when he came home on leave. The well stayed. After dinner, the kids scattered. The daughters-in-law went to wash dishes and then laundry because a woman's work in 1971 literally never ended, and the adults got down to business. Your mother tells me you're dating this Sioux girl, Lu Qing'an said to his son. Not a question. A statement. With weight. Yes, you've thought it through. This man was no fool. He'd already deduced that I was probably from a family in political trouble. Who else would a girl with leather suitcases be doing in the countryside? He was testing whether his son understood what he was getting into. I've thought it through. Lu Chongjing's voice was steel. His logic was solid, actually. Everything he'd achieved was through his own merit. Real accomplishments on his military record that nobody could erase. And he didn't believe the current political chaos would last forever. The country needed to develop, and the top leaders wouldn't let things spiral indefinitely. Smart man. Correct, too, as I happen to know from my future knowledge.
Fine.
If you've thought it through, that's enough for me. Lu Qing'an took a pull on his pipe. What's your plan? Grandpa Lu spoke up from his seat, still sitting as straight as his aging body allowed. Don't worry about me. Go at your own pace. Knowing you have someone, that puts my mind at ease. This old warrior understood his grandson perfectly. Lu Chongjing wasn't the type to propose to someone out of obligation. If he said he liked me, he meant it. I'll try to get married before I return to base, Lu Chongjing said. His reasoning? He wouldn't be back until next year. And with a face like mine just existing in a village full of people, someone might steal me. The man needed to lock this down with legal documentation before he left. Romantic? Maybe. Territorial? Definitely. Then we need to move fast, Lu Qing'an said. What kind of wedding? Small dinner with close people? Or the whole village? Lu family village was big, over 150 households, more than 1,000 people. Inviting everyone would mean roughly 20 tables of guests. The whole village, big brother and second brother exchanged a look. 20 tables meant a lot of food. A lot of their food. I'll handle the meat for the banquet. Mom, Dad, you just need to organize the helpers, Lu Chongjing said. Absolutely not. Li Yue slammed that idea down immediately. Her older sons had gotten 10-table weddings funded by the family. Her youngest wasn't going to pay for his own. Even if she didn't love her future daughter-in-law Mi, she wasn't about to let the neighbors think the Lu family was cheap. You handle the meat. The family will provide the grain and vegetables. She turned to her older sons with a look that could curdle milk. Any objections? No. None. Zero. Big brother and second brother shook their heads so fast they looked like those little drum rattle toys. Mom had just reminded the entire table that the house they were all living in was built mostly with Lu Chongjing's money. Objecting would be like complaining about the roof over their heads. Now, for the bride price, Li Yue continued. Your brother's weddings, we gave 50 yuan each. But times were harder then. You've been sending money home for years. Most of this house was built on your contributions. So your father and I discussed it, and the family will give you 200 yuan for the bride price. She looked at the older brothers again. Objections? Shake, 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 shake. The family has 2 bicycles for your brothers. We'll buy you one for your wedding. That's what the family can do. Anything else you need, you're on your own. Now, what Li Yue didn't say, what she kept tucked away like a secret weapon, was that she'd already secured purchasing tickets for all 3 of the trendy wedding items. A bicycle, a sewing machine, and a watch. In the cities, these were the big-ticket wedding gifts. Getting all 3 tickets together was a flex that most families couldn't pull off. She'd originally gotten them ready for the art troupe girl. A military bride deserved the best, after all. But for me, the skinny, delicate, probably in political trouble Shanghai princess, she was keeping those tickets in her pocket.
For now.
If the girl proves herself worthy, Li Yue probably thought, maybe then. Oh, mother-in-law, you don't know it yet, but I'm going to win you over so hard you'll forget you ever doubted me.
Probably.
Hopefully.
We'll see.
Now, I was fast asleep on my sad straw mat at this point, blissfully unaware that my upcoming marriage was being dissected like a frog in biology class across multiple bedrooms of the Lu household. Let me take you on a tour of the evening's gossip sessions. Bedroom 2. Lu Weigua and wife Gue Hua. The ambitious one's second brother was barely through his first sentence before his wife, Lu Hohot, shot upright in bed like a jack-in-the-box. He what? He's not meeting the art troupe girl? He's marrying the SU Jiqing. Keep it down. Why? It's not a secret. She waved him off and immediately leaned in with maximum gossip energy. So, did your mom agree? See, Hohot had history with mother-in-law, Li Yue. When she'd wanted to marry Lu Weigua, Li Yue had said no. The only reason she got in the door was because she and Weigua had.
Well,
let's just say they presented the family with a fait accompli. Cooked rice that couldn't be uncooked, if you catch my drift. She'd spent years playing the humble, obedient daughter-in-law after that and popped out 2 grandsons to finally earn some approval points. So she knew exactly how picky her mother-in-law was. She didn't say no, Weigua reported. She brought up the banquet and bride price, so I think that means yes. Well, that Sue girl is very pretty, Hohot mused. And I heard she arrived with 2 big leather suitcases. Her clothes are made of fabrics nobody around here has ever seen. She's definitely from money. That's probably why your mom agreed. Then she got philosophical. Your brother really is ridiculously lucky. When he enlisted, tons of guys applied, and only he got picked. He became an officer. Now he comes home to find a wife and somehow lands a gorgeous rich girl. Some people just have all the luck. Is she really that pretty? Weigua made the mistake of asking. Hohot's head swiveled toward him like an owl spotting a mouse.
Why?
She could be Miss Universe and she'd still be your brother's wife. You're the one who brought up how pretty she is. I was just asking. Moving on to the real question, the one Hohot actually cared about. How much bride price? 200 yuan. Hohot's lip curled. When She married in, the bride price was 50. But she couldn't really complain. Everyone knew Lu Chongjing had been bankrolling the family for years. 200 was fair. What about the wedding banquet? How big? He wants to invite the whole village. At least 20 tables. Hohot launched out of bed again. 20 tables? Do you know how much that costs? Even at 10 yuan a table, that's 200 yuan in food alone. Relax. Guests bring gift money. And Changjing said he'd handle the meat himself. Family just provides grain and vegetables. Oh, she deflated instantly. That's not so bad then. But then her brain went to the real prize. Wait, didn't your parents say they'd split the household after Changjing gets married? Is that still happening? They haven't changed their minds, right? They didn't mention it. But I'm sure they will. Weigua's eyes were already drooping. He was asleep in seconds. Ho-Hot lay there in the dark, doing math. Her husband made 28 yuan a month at the timber factory. Currently, 20 of those yuan went to the family pot, leaving them with a measly 8 yuan. After Weigua's work expenses and the occasional meal out, they saved almost nothing. But if they split households, that entire 28 yuan stays with them. Sure, she'd be farming alone and would need to buy extra grain, but that's cheap. They'd be saving money hand over fist. Ho-Hot suddenly felt warm and hopeful. She was now Lu Changjing's biggest fan. She wanted him married yesterday. She wanted the household split tomorrow. She was mentally spending her future savings already. You go, brother-in-law. Marry that city girl. Do it fast. Bedroom 1. Lu Xingjuan and wife Lu Yuji. The quiet one's big brother's conversation with his wife was considerably less dramatic. He told her the news. Lu Yuji listened quietly, nodded, and said, "Your parents have it handled. We'll do what they say." Then she added, with the weariness of a woman who'd been biting her tongue for years, "But you need to bring up the household split. It was promised. Ever since your brother got his factory job, Ho-Hot has been insufferable, constantly implying we're freeloaders, pushing extra chores onto me. I've had enough. Here's the thing about the first daughter-in-law. She'd been swallowing injustice for a long time. Lu Yuji had 3 kids, 2 daughters first, then finally a son. Before the son came, she was basically the household's punching bag. Ho-Hot would grab the best food for her boys, claiming the eldest grandson deserves more. Yuji's 2 girls were sent to gather pig feed to earn work points, while Ho-Hot's boys ran around the village playing all day. And back when second brother was still just farming alongside everyone else, his family actually earned less work points than big brothers. Xingjuan was the village accountant, so his work points matched the highest earner in the village. Yuji herself pulled 7 to 8 points a day, and even the kids contributed. Big Brother's household was objectively doing more, and nobody said a word when second brother's family benefited. But the second Weigua got his factory job 2 years ago, Ho-Hot transformed into a completely different person. Suddenly, she had opinions about who was pulling their weight. Suddenly, Big Brother's family was mooching. Suddenly, every shared chore was an imposition on her precious time. Li Wei had tried to rein Ho-Hot in a few times. It worked for about 3 days each time, before she snapped right back to her passive-aggressive default setting.
So yeah,
everyone wanted this household split, for completely different reasons. Ho-Hot wanted it for the money. Yuji wanted it for the peace. Big Brother wanted it because he was 29 years old and tired of living under his mother's financial management. And presumably Li Yue wanted it because she was tired of refereeing her daughters-in-law like a boxing match judge. The only thing everyone in this family agreed on? The sooner Lu Changjin got married, the sooner they could all go their separate ways. Which meant that, without knowing it, I had become the most popular person in the Lu household, not because anyone particularly liked me, but because my wedding was the starting gun for everyone's escape plan. I was literally the key to every single person's dreams in that house, and I was sleeping on a straw mat with no pillow, completely oblivious. Life is funny like that. The wake-up whistle blew at 5 a.m., and my body sat up like a puppet on strings. 2 weeks of harvest conditioning had turned the original Su Mo into a Pavlovian alarm clock, and apparently that reflex transferred to me. Xiaowan and Qinlan were already scrambling into their clothes.
Sumo, Uri.
We have to be at headquarters by 5:30. During harvest, the whole village runs on a military schedule. 5 a.m. wake up, 5:30 assembly at headquarters, where the team leader assigns the day's tasks across 8 production teams, 40-ish small squads, and 800-something workers. It's basically a logistics operation that would make Amazon jealous. Su Mo, Today's breakfast is sweet potatoes. If you're late, all the big ones will be gone, Xiaowan urged, because apparently sweet potato size is a competitive sport here. Actually, I was thinking of taking the day off to go to the county town and buy some stuff. Xiaowan looked at me like I'd asked to vacation in Hawaii. Good luck getting the team leader to approve that. She was also dying for a day off, but was convinced the team leader had a personal vendetta against her. He didn't. He just had a sixth sense for lazy people, and Xiaowan practically had, will slack if unsupervised, tattooed on her forehead. But if you do go, can you buy me a pound of egg cake and a wash basin? She handed me money and coupons. Practical girl. She knew I looked like I could barely carry myself, let alone a shopping haul, so she kept the list short. I got dressed, khaki pants, white blouse, cloth shoes. Low-key. Understated. A single braid over my shoulder. Nothing fancy. The other educated youth stared at me like I'd walked out in a ball gown. Su Jiqing, you're not working again today? Zheng Kaiping asked, trying not to look jealous of my outfit. Nope. Going to the county town. You know, if you don't earn enough work points, you won't get much grain. Winters here are long. It's okay. My family sends me money and supplies. Kaiping went quiet.
Right.
Some of us have family support. Must be nice to not care about 4 measly work points. 3 years ago, she might have lectured me about revolutionary duty and supporting rural construction. But after 3 years in the countryside, she'd figured out the truth. They were all just excess population that the cities couldn't feed, dumped into the villages where nobody wanted them either. The ones with connections had already weaseled their way back to the city. The rest?
Stuck.
I washed my face with a wet towel, no toothbrushing because I officially didn't have a toothbrush. My apocalypse toothbrush was sitting right there in my spatial dimension, taunting me. But I couldn't use it without explaining where a brand new future tech toothbrush came from. The indignity. Shopping trip could not come soon enough. I was strategizing my approach to the team leader when someone called my name from outside. Xiaowan burst into the room, eyebrows doing a full gymnastics routine. There's a military comrade outside asking for you. Very handsome. Is he your boyfriend? Yesterday. Don't marry that soldier. Today. Ew. Is that your boyfriend? He's cute. Xiaowan, you absolute weather vane. You gorgeous hypocrite. You shameless beauty appreciator. I went outside to find Lu Chongjing standing by the bamboo fence, looking like a propaganda poster come to life. The second he saw me, his eyes lit up like someone plugged him in. His girlfriend was pretty. You could practically see the thought bubble. Comrade Lu, you were looking for me. He reached into his pocket and pulled out 2 warm, freshly boiled eggs. Just cooked. Eat them while they're hot. In 1971 rural China, eggs are currency. Villagers call their chickens, but banks, because eggs are literally the most reliable source of tradable income. 2 eggs was a genuinely generous gift. I peeled one and held it up to his mouth. 1 for you, 1 for me. He tried to refuse. Big tough military man doesn't need eggs. His delicate girlfriend needs the nutrition more, but I physically held the egg in front of his face until he caved. His mouth twitched into a grin so big it could have been seen from space, and he ate the egg in 1 bite. Then he peeled the second one for me and watched me eat it with the satisfied intensity of a man who just completed a critical mission objective. Target. Federal status. Satisfied. Then he pulled out a grass basket. I traded for some eggs in the village yesterday. You just recovered. Eat 1 or 2 a day to build your strength back up. I peeked inside. He'd covered the top with straw, but I could tell from the weight. Easily over 2 pounds of eggs in there. That's a lot. In this era, that's basically a treasure chest. That's too many. Take some back for your family. His eyebrows scrunched together. He did not like me being polite with him. 5 minutes ago, I was peeling him an egg mouth to mouth, and now I was acting like we were strangers? Pick a lane, woman. Your family has plenty. You just got out of the hospital. Take them. His tone left no room for negotiation. He perked up again almost immediately, though, because my reluctance to accept gifts apparently proved I was a good comrade, not greedy at all, getting flustered over a few eggs. This man was falling deeper in love by the minute, and I wasn't even trying. Are you going somewhere today? He asked, eyeing my civilian outfit. County town. Need to buy some things. Perfect. I'm heading there too. I'll take you on my bike. Walking would take you 3 hours. I can do it way faster. Well, that was convenient. That would be great. Thank you. Wait at the dormitory. I'll come get you. And off he went, radiating the energy of a man with a plan. I walked back inside carrying my basket of eggs, and every single person in the common area swiveled toward me like sunflowers tracking the sun. Su Jiqing, who was that? Kaiping couldn't contain herself. What did he give you? My boyfriend. Your what? Since when? Yesterday. Jaws.
Floor.
Everywhere. Was that the party secretary's son? The military officer? I nodded and took my eggs to my room, leaving a trail of stunned silence behind me. The veteran-educated youth exchanged loaded looks. They'd been here long enough to know about the secretary's officer's son and his house. The nice one, with cement floors and a ceiling, and its own well. And this newcomer, here for barely a month, had snagged him on day one of being conscious? But the most interesting reaction came from Lin Xia, another female educated youth, whose face cycled through about 17 emotions in 3 seconds. See, Lin Xia had seen Lu Changjing's house when it was built. She'd gone to gawk with the village aunties and immediately fallen in love with the house. Back in the city, her family of 6 was crammed into a 2-bedroom apartment. She didn't even have her own room. She slept on a bunk bed in the living room corner with her sister. She'd been fantasizing about Lu Changjing coming home on leave, seeing her, falling in love, and sweeping her into that beautiful house. She'd basically written the whole romance novel in her head.
And now?
I'd waltzed in and stolen the leading role. Her teeth were grinding so hard you could hear it from across the room. Behind her eyes, a conspiracy theory was forming. That fox spirit Su Mo planned this. She probably waited by the river on purpose. She probably saw Lu Changjing coming and then jumped in. Why else would she take that specific day off? She's a schemer. A manipulator.
Mum.
I was literally drowning. I was dead for several minutes. My lungs were full of river water. But sure.
It was all part of my master plan. Step 1, D.
Step 2. Get resuscitated by hot man. Step 3. Profit. The logic is airtight. Apparently, while I was sleeping, Lin Xia, one of the veteran-educated youth, had already branded me a scheming fox spirit who deliberately threw herself into a river to seduce a military officer. You know, the classic seduction technique. Step 1, actually die. Step 2, get CPR. Step 3, wedding bells. Did I know about this?
No.
Would I have cared? Also no. I wasn't planning to be besties with anyone at the dormitory anyway. Friendly nods, polite hellos. That's the sweet spot. Too close and they'd be dropping by my future house all the time, and I've got secret supernatural farming to do. Can't have visitors when you're speed-growing ginseng in your living room. I counted the eggs Lu Changjing brought, 23. He must have gone door to door trading with half the village to get that many. My heart did a little squeeze. This man was out here doing the most, and we'd been dating for approximately 12 hours. I tucked the basket next to my suitcase. Couldn't put it in my space. Everyone had seen me carrying it in. Evidence must remain visible. Spatial dimension management is a whole lifestyle. At 5:30, I joined the morning procession to headquarters. The other educated youth were giving me the side eye the entire walk, measuring looks, curious glances, the works. I ignored them like a professional and kept walking with Xiaowan. Time to face the team leader. I knocked on the office door. Team leader Lu Baoguo looked up, surprised to see me. Su Jiqing, feeling better? What do you need? Much better. Thank you. I'd like to request a day off to go to the county town. Now, here's a fun coincidence. Lu Baoguo is the older brother of Li Cuihua's husband, which means he'd already gotten the full gossip download from his loudmouth sister-in-law last night. He knew everything about me and Lu Changjing. Going with Changjing, he asked oh so casually. I blinked. Yes, fine, go ahead. One wave of his big hand and I was free. That's IT? During harvest season? When taking a day off is basically a criminal offense. His logic was simple. Harvest was almost done. I was useless at farm work anyway, and the girl was probably going to buy wedding stuff. Even team leaders have hearts. Occasionally, I walked out in a daze. I'd prepared an entire persuasive speech, talking points, counterarguments, emotional appeals, and he just
said yes.
I didn't even know how I'd gotten back outside until Xiaowan grabbed me. Well, did he approve it? I nodded. Did he yell at you? I shook my head. Xiaojuan's face scrunched up like a crumpled paper bag.
What?
When I tried to get time off, to visit Yui in the hospital, which is a legitimate reason, he chewed me out and rejected me. He definitely has something against me. This is persecution. Poor Xiaowan. She genuinely couldn't figure out why the team leader didn't like her. It was one of life's great, unsolvable mysteries. It wasn't. She was lazy. He could tell. Mystery solved. If you're going to the county, please get me that egg cake, she begged. And sugar, a pound if they have it. Lin Xia keeps sneaking candy when she thinks nobody's watching, and it's making me crazy with cravings. And a basin if you can carry one. But food first. Promise me. Food first. I promise. Food first. She looked like I'd sworn a sacred oath on her firstborn child's life. This girl took snacks seriously. I went back to the dormitory and sorted through my coupons, pulling out the nationally valid ones and packing 200 yuan into the original Sumo's crossbody bag. A cream-colored number that looked almost vintage chic by future standards. In a sea of green, serve the people, military bags. Mine stuck out like a designer purse at a camping trip, which, honestly, was the Su family's whole problem. Nice clothes, nice bags, nice everything, while everyone around them was wearing patches on patches. Even though they spent their own legitimately earned money, you can't be the best-dressed family on a street full of struggling people without painting a target on your back. The Su family's downfall wasn't just political enemies. It was being too visibly comfortable in an era that demanded visible suffering. They lost because they didn't read the room. I wouldn't make that mistake. A few minutes later, Lu Chongjing arrived. I heard him call from outside and hurried out, only to find him standing at full attention with that look on his face. He saluted me. Again. Comrade Su, I have a request. I hope you'll approve it. Oh God.
What now?
Was he going to propose again? Pull out a ring? Recite his military service record in reverse? What happened? Is something wrong? My grandfather heard I have a girlfriend. He'd like to meet you. Would you be willing? HHA. I knew it. I'd had a feeling Lu Chongjing wasn't going to just let the let's date for a while things slide. This was his next move. Bring in the elderly grandfather card. The sick war veteran just wants to see his grandson married before he dies. Grandfather. Emotional warfare. Devastating. Brilliant. The thing is, I'd already made up my mind. I'd been waiting for his next play. So I smiled and said yes. He saluted me again, this man and his salutes, I swear, and we hopped on the bicycle. The ride through the village was my first real chance to look around. Lu family village was big, 150-plus households spread over a wide area. Even at Lu Chongjing's Top Gun bicycle speed, it took us several minutes to cross from the dormitory at one end to the Lu compound at the other. We pulled into a courtyard, and I took it all in. 3 rows of solid brick and tile buildings arranged like a mini courtyard complex. 5 rooms across the center, 3 on each side. Swept clean. Garden full of vegetables. Whoever ran this household ran it tight. Left wing is my eldest brother's family. Right wing is my second brother's. Center is my parents and grandfather, Lu Chongjing narrated as we walked toward the main hall. Then he added, with a tiny cough, Our place is about 5 minutes walk from here. I'll take you to see it later. Our place. He said our. This man was already speaking in joint pronouns, and I hadn't even agreed to marry him yet. Just then, 2 little boys came tumbling out of the house and froze when they saw Lu Chongjing. They snapped to attention like tiny soldiers. Third uncle, where's your great-grandpa? Resting in his room, the taller one said, while both of them craned their necks to stare at me with the unfiltered curiosity that only children can pull off. Lu Chongjing, noticing their staring, gestured at me with the casualness of a man announcing the weather. This is your future third aunt. Future third Yuanti? We are still in the considering phase, sir. I glared at him, but okay fine, I didn't correct him either. Instead, I reached into my bag and pulled out 6 malt candies, 3 for each kid. Thank you, Passuemo, for being a hoarder. I'd found these in my space during yesterday's inventory. Plain transparent wrappers, no future tech barcodes, completely safe to distribute. I'd had the foresight to pocket some before leaving, knowing there'd be kids at the Liu house. Hello, you two. Have some candy. Thank you, third AUNT. They screamed in unison, at roughly double the volume of their first greeting. Nothing buys loyalty faster than sugar. The shorter one held up his candy and squinted at it. Third aunt, is this milk candy? Apparently, Lu Chongzheng had sent milk candies home once, and this child had been chasing that high ever since. No, it's malt candy. What's malt candy? It's candy made from malt. Nailed it. Perfect explanation. I should teach kindergarten. Before the interrogation could continue, Lu Chongzheng shooed them away. They scattered like startled birds. Clearly this uncle had a reputation for being obeyed. No questions asked.
All right.
Kids, handled.
Grandfather. Next. Game on.
The taller one is my second brother's younger son, Lu Guoyang, age 5. The shorter one is my eldest brother's son, Lu Guiqiang, age 4. Lu Chongzheng explained as we walked toward the main house. I smiled. Every name in this family was peak 1970s patriotic naming. Chongzheng, Long March. Xingjuan, March the Army. Weiguo, Defend the Nation. Xiaolan, Little Orchid. Very on brand. My grandfather named all of us. He's a veteran of the War of Resistance. Every name carries his hopes for. A door curtain lifted, and he came out. Lu Boming. And just like that, every joke I had loaded up in my brain went quiet. He was tall. You could tell he'd been an imposing man in his prime. Now he was thin and weathered, silver-haired and visibly in pain, but still carrying himself with a dignity that radiated outward like heat from a furnace. His face was carved from decades of hardship and resolve. He was wearing an old-style military uniform, gray-blue, with faint fold lines still visible. He'd put it on just now. He'd heard me arrive and gone to change into it. To meet me properly. Lu Chongzheng rushed to support him as he walked. His gait had a slight limp, though he was clearly fighting to walk straight. His left sleeve hung empty, and something inside me just broke open. I wasn't looking at an old man in a village courtyard anymore. I was looking at every soldier who'd walked through fire so that this country could exist. Every person who'd given a limb, a life, a future, so that ordinary people could have won. And I was also seeing something else, something only I could see. Because in my first life, in the apocalypse, I'd watched soldiers do the same thing. When the zombies came, when everything collapsed, it was the People's Liberation Army who formed the rear guard. They held the line so civilians like me, 14 years old, terrified, alone, could escape. Most of them didn't make it. Before I knew what I was doing, I raised my hand and saluted him. It wasn't a perfect salute. I'm not military. My form was probably all wrong. But I put everything I had into it, every ounce of respect, gratitude, and grief I carried from 2 lifetimes. A song lyric floated up from somewhere deep in my memory. I wish I could reach out and hold you tight and tell you, everything has settled now. The new China you dreamed of 100 years ago. It's so beautiful. My eyes were burning. I blinked and felt tears slip down. Lu Boming looked at me, this small, teary girl holding a shaky salute, and raised his one remaining hand to salute me back.
He saw it.
The sincerity. He knew it wasn't an act to impress him or score points with the family. It was real. And I think, in that moment, he saw something in me that gave him peace. A sense that the things he'd fought for, the sacrifices he'd made, the arm he'd left on some battlefield decades ago, none of it was wasted. That someone somewhere understood. That the torch would be carried forward. Lu Chongzheng stood between us, frozen. He hadn't expected this. He'd brought me here to meet his grandfather, sure. Maybe soften me up about the marriage timeline. Standard tactical maneuver. He had not planned on an emotional gut punch that would rearrange his entire understanding of who I was. Because in that salute, he suddenly realized, she gets it. She understands why he chose the military over university when everyone called him crazy. She understands the duty, the sacrifice, the thing he could never quite explain to his parents. She gets it. And then, quietly, Lu Chongjing raised his hand and saluted too. 3 people. 3 salutes. Nobody spoke. Nothing needed to be said. I don't think I've ever felt more connected to 2 people in my entire life. Either of my lives. The moment broke when Grandpa Lu started coughing. Lu Chongjing dropped his salute and rushed to support him, patting his back to help him breathe. Getting old, the old man laughed ruefully, waving it off. Come, Su Jiqing, sit inside. I wanted to reach out and help him too, but then I saw the empty sleeve again and pulled my hand back. He wasn't the kind of man who wanted to be pitted. Thank you, Grandpa Lu, I said, smiling at him. But beneath my smile, there was a sadness I couldn't quite hide. Because of my wood element power, I can sense life energy in living things. Plants, animals, people. And Grandpa Lu's life force was faint, like a candle burning down to its last inch of wick. He didn't have long. We sat in the main hall, and he tried to be a proper host. Chongjing, your mother boiled peanuts last night. Go get some for Su Jiqing. No, Grandpa Lu, I already ate. Save the peanuts for the kids. Lu Chongjing read my expression and backed me up. She doesn't need any, Grandpa. She's not a guest. Not a guest.
Family.
He was saying I was family. The old man let it go. He knew peanuts weren't exactly a luxury offering. He just didn't have much else. Your name is Su Mo? Yes. My mother's surname is Mo, so my father originally named me Su Mo using the character for Mo, but my mother thought that character wasn't elegant enough for a girl, so they changed it to the Mo from Jasmine, same sound, prettier meaning, parents who love each other deeply. That's good. His eyes drifted somewhere far away, and I knew he was thinking about his late wife. I hope you two will be the same. You're both good children. He started coughing again, a deep, rattling cough that shook his thin frame. Lu Chongjing was at his side instantly, rubbing his back, his jaw tight with worry. When the coughing finally subsided, Grandpa Lu said, "Go to my room. In the back of the cabinet, there's a wooden box. Bring it here." Lu Chongjing returned with a small wooden box. The old man opened it with his one hand and unwrapped layer after layer of handkerchief cloth until 2 jade bracelets caught the light. They were beautiful. Good translucency, rich green, real quality. The Lu family was once a family of some standing, he said softly. But war and famine took everything. These bracelets are all that's left. I gave them to your grandmother when we married. He called me closer. One goes to Chongjing's mother. One goes to you. You can't wear them now, not in times like these. But someday, when it's safe, put it on. I stepped back immediately. Grandpa Lu, I can't accept this. Shouldn't something like this go to the eldest son's wife? Take it, child. He caught his breath. This is from your grandparents to our granddaughter-in-law. You must accept it. Then, quieter. I want these to be passed down through the Lu family, and of all the people I could give them to, only you two would make sure they stay. He didn't say what he meant. He didn't have to. He was saying the other daughters-in-law would sell them. When you have time, he added, running his thumb over the jade one last time, his eyes soft with decades of love and loss. Tell the children about their great-grandmother. Tell them what a brave and strong woman she was. I understood completely then. This wasn't just jewelry. It was a legacy, a last wish, a piece of the woman he'd loved and lost, being placed into my hands for safekeeping. I accepted the bracelets solemnly.
I will.
I promise. He smiled, a real, peaceful smile, and waved us away. Go on, you two. I need to lie down. These old bones can't sit for long. Lu Chongjing helped him back to his room. We walked out of the house in silence. The mood between us was heavy, not with awkwardness, but with the weight of what had just happened. Grandpa Lu had spoken like a man settling his affairs, distributing heirlooms, making sure the things he loved would be cared for. It was a goodbye dressed up as a welcome. I held the jade bracelet in my pocket and thought about life force and candlewicks and old soldiers who gave everything they had, right down to the very end. Some chapters of this novel don't have a punchline, and that's okay. After leaving Grandpa Lu's room, Neither of us felt like touring the new house anymore. The mood was too heavy for real estate appreciation. We just got on the bicycle and headed for the county town. The road was quiet for a while, both of us sitting with our thoughts. Comrades Sue and Mo, thank you for what you did back there. His voice was different now.
Softer. Real.
You don't need to thank me. Your grandfather is a man who deserves respect. Then, as we rode, Lu Chongjing told me his grandfather's story. Born in the last years of the Qing dynasty, grew up in chaos and war, wanted to join the revolution, but he was an only son, and his father demanded he produce an heir first. So he rushed into marriage, waited just long enough to see his baby boy born, looked at him exactly once, and left to fight. He was gone for years, came home only in brief flashes. His wife ran the entire household alone, raising their son without complaint. When he finally returned for good, it was because his body had given out, missing an arm, a limp that would never heal. After the war, the new government offered him an official position. He refused. His reasoning? Compared to my comrades who are dead, I'm already lucky to be alive. I joined to drive out the invaders, and we did. No need to ask for more. The country is just starting, give the positions to people more capable than me. He even had to be forced to accept his disability pension. The officials had to just assign it to him. Started at 8 yuan a month, now 18. Their generation's spirit of sacrifice, Lu Chongjing said, it's beyond anything we could match. My grandmother ran a family alone for decades, without a single complaint. My grandfather fought for half his life and walked away wanting nothing. They ate all the bitterness, I said quietly, so they could leave the sweetness for us. We shouldn't forget what they gave. We should try to live the way they hoped we would. Yes, Lu Chongjing nodded, so hard the bicycle wobbled. Then, because this man has the emotional range of a Swiss Army knife, he pivoted seamlessly from profound moment back to marriage negotiations. Comrade Suemo, I'd like to formally submit my request once more. I have 15 days before I return to base. I hope we can become revolutionary partners before then, not just because of my grandfather's health, but because I genuinely, urgently want to build a family with you. You know what? He was right. This wasn't a scheme. Grandpa Lu hadn't been a tactical deployment. That old man really had just wanted to meet me. And he'd given me his dead wife's jade bracelet, a family heirloom, with trembling hands and misty eyes. I was already holding the man's grandmother's jewelry. At this point, saying let's keep taking it slow would just be silly. Okay, I said. One word. That's all it took. I could practically feel the bicycle accelerate beneath me. Lu Chongjing's legs found a new gear I didn't know human thighs possessed. I'll have my mother come to the dormitory tomorrow to formally propose. When we get to the county town, I'll call my base to submit the marriage application. Once it's approved, we get the certificate. I wasn't too worried about the political background check. The original Sumo's father had apparently handled everything before sending her away, cleaned up the records, covered their tracks. Should be fine. Probably. Hopefully. And since we're going to the county town today, let's get our wedding photo taken. What? I'm not dressed for a wedding photo. This outfit isn't festive enough. We'll take one today and another on the day we get the certificate, when you're dressed up. My wife is so beautiful. She looks good in anything. I'm bringing photos back to base to make all those guys jealous. Wife. He called me wife. We agreed to get married approximately 90 seconds ago. Smooth talker. How many girls have you fooled with that mouth? Wife, you wound me. In all my years, you're the only girl I've ever liked. The formal, stiff military officer was gone. The real Lu Chongjing had arrived, a little cocky, a little playful, 100% trouble. I'm perfectly serious around everyone else. This side of me is exclusively for my wife. You weren't like this with me 5 minutes ago, either. Haha. Well, 5 minutes ago you hadn't agreed to be my wife yet. Couldn't risk scaring you off, and you're not worried about scaring me off now. He actually whistled on his bicycle. Nope. Comrade Sue is not the type to go back on her word. This rascal. Where was the stoic soldier? The stiff saluting robot?
Gone.
Replaced by this grinning, whistling, sweet-talking scoundrel who'd apparently been hiding inside the uniform this whole time. I'd been played. He let me fall for the serious officer, and now that I'd signed the contract, out comes the real product. Too late for a refund, Sumo. We pedaled past the commune supply store, chatting and laughing, completely oblivious to the pair of enormous eyes watching us from behind the store counter. Lu Xiaolan,
Poor Xiaolan.
had been standing at the window, saw her brother ride by with me on the back of his bicycle, laughing together like old friends, and her brain immediately went, error. Error. Does not compute.
Wait. What?
Since when is my brother friendly with the Sioux girl? Since when does he laugh? Wasn't he supposed to be meeting the art troupe girl? What is happening? She was panicking because SHE had been the one who set up the matchmaking. Her husband, Yang Jingming, worked as the commune's organization officer. The Women's Federation director, Lu Guangying, had approached him about her niece, a girl in the military art troupe, wanting to meet Lu Changzheng. Xiaolan thought the match sounded great and arranged it. The meeting was scheduled for the day after tomorrow. And now her brother was riding around with a different woman, looking like they were already picking out curtains. Xiaolan barely survived until lunch. She skipped eating, jumped on her bicycle, and blasted home to the village at maximum speed. She burst into the Lu family dining room like a human tornado while everyone was mid-meal, grabbed a cup, chugged water, and exploded. MOM. What is going on with third brother and Su Jiqing? I saw them this morning on the same bicycle, laughing together, heading to the county town. Explain. Oh, they're dating. They're dating? And you didn't tell me? The matchmaking meeting is in 2 days. How am I supposed to explain this to Director Lu? I was going to come tell you this afternoon. This afternoon.
Mom.
This is a crisis. You should have come at dawn. The meeting is practically tomorrow, and now we have to cancel, and I'm the one who's going to look like an idiot, and Grandpa Lu cleared his throat from his seat. Everyone went quiet. Qing'an's wife, he said calmly to Li Wei, go with Xiaolan this afternoon. Bring pastries and 2 bottles of wine. This is our fault. We need to apologize properly. Yes, father. Li Wei nodded immediately. Whatever her feelings about me, she respected her father-in-law completely. Thank goodness she'd been vague when originally arranging the matchmaking and hadn't made any firm promises. Otherwise, this would be a disaster instead of merely deeply embarrassing. Xiaolan, have you eaten? Li Wei pivoted to mom mode. Xiaolan shook her head miserably. Too stressed to eat. The injustice of it all. Fengqin, get your aunt some chopsticks. Li Wei dispatched her eldest granddaughter, then patted Xiaolan's arm. Calm down. I'll handle the director this afternoon. And so the great matchmaking cancellation crisis of 1971 was formally underway. Meanwhile, Lu Changzheng and I were riding toward the county town, blissfully unaware, probably arguing about wedding photos or something equally ridiculous. You know, for a guy who'd been alive 24 years without ever having a girlfriend, he sure was causing a lot of collateral damage in his first 48 hours of
Romancy.
I wasn't there for this one either. I was off riding to the county town with my brand new fiancé, but the drama unfolding behind me was magnificent. After lunch, Li Wei and Xiaolan launched Operation Apologize without losing face. Step 1, gifts. They hit the commune supply store and assembled a diplomatic care package. 2 pounds of egg cake, 1.92 yuan. 2 bottles of 60-proof DACA liquor, 4.78 yuan. 2 pounds of apples, ooh fancy, 0.96 yuan. Grand total, 7.66 yuan. Li Wei felt each coin leave her wallet like a tiny piece of her soul departing. That was nearly a third of Xiaolan's monthly salary. And for what? To grovel before the Women's Federation director because her idiot son fell in love with a drowning girl instead of following the plan. The headache was already building behind her eyes. She had to go apologize. Li Wei, wife of the village party secretary, queen of the peanut shelling circle, terror of daughters-in-law everywhere, had to go play nice. She wanted to scream. Xiaolan got time off from work, and the mother-daughter duo marched into the commune office building like soldiers heading into an unpleasant battle. They collected Xiaolan's husband, Yang Jingming, who led them to Director Lu Guangying's office and then immediately fled. Smart man. He'd been the middleman who connected the two families, and his survival instincts told him this was a get-out-of-the-blast-zone situation. Director Liu saw them coming.
She saw the gifts.
Her stomach dropped, but she kept her smile glued on. Well, sister. What brings you here? Li Yue took a breath. Director Liu, I'm so sorry, but the matchmaking. It can't happen. What?
Why not?
Does Changzheng have additional requirements? He rescued an educated youth the other day, and they took a liking to each other. They're dating now. Since he already has a girlfriend, he obviously can't go to a matchmaking meeting. Director Liu exhaled with relief. Oh, is that all? Easy fix. Don't worry about it, sister. I'll handle this. What's the girl's name? I'll have a chat with her. Using a rescue to force a marriage is completely inappropriate. And she's supposed to be an educated youth? Her ideological awareness is clearly lacking. Director Liu, there was no forced marriage. The two young people fell for each other willingly. Lu Guangying's smile evaporated. Now wait just a moment. My niece took special leave from the art troupe to come back for this. My brother and his wife have already prepared the dowry. And now you're telling me, just like that, it's off? This is basically calling off an engagement. Li Yue's spine straightened. Oh, you want to play that game? Director Liu, let's not throw around words like engagement. We agreed, very clearly, to a casual meeting. I specifically told you that whether anything came of it was up to Changzheng, and I couldn't promise anything. They haven't even met yet. How can you call off something that never started? Calling it a broken engagement was a serious accusation. In this era, that was a misconduct charge. For a military officer, it could end a career. Li Yue was not about to let that label stick. Then she twisted the knife. Besides, they haven't even met, and your brother is already preparing a dowry? Is there perhaps some health issue? Is she in a rush to marry? Director Liu chokes on air because yes, that was exactly the situation. And it was a mess. Here's the thing about Director Liu's niece, Lu Ping. She was 22 and stubbornly, catastrophically single. Not because she was unattractive, she was fine, but because she joined the military art troupe and decided she was too good for every man her family suggested. For years, she'd rejected everyone. Meanwhile, her younger sister Lu Mei, age 20, had been dating a factory director's son for 2 years but couldn't get married because the older sister hadn't married first. Tradition demanded order. The boyfriend's family had issued an ultimatum: marry within a year, or we're done. The factory director's son, a catch, about to swim away because big sister was too picky. Lu Ping's father had finally given her an ultimatum: get married this year, or I'm disowning you. That's when Lu Ping suddenly remembered she'd noticed a handsome military officer at the base. Oh, how convenient. Her father was overjoyed. A deputy battalion commander from the same county? Perfect. He immediately started preparing the dowry and called his sister to set things up.
So yeah.
The matchmaking meeting was less casual coffee and more, please for the love of everything marry this man before your sister's relationship implodes. But Director Liu couldn't say any of that. If word got out that her niece was desperate and had possible issues, she'd never find a decent husband in this small county. My niece is perfectly healthy, Lu Guangying said quickly, dialing her aggression way down. It's just that military work is so busy, you know how it is. My brother and his wife were just eager, preparing early. Your son is military too, you understand the scheduling difficulties. Oh, I absolutely do, Li Yue nodded sympathetically. My Changzheng is the same way, so busy he's put off marriage until now. His older brother had 2 children by this age. I've been worried sick. The tension was deflating. Li Yue had the upper hand, and they both knew it. As long as Director Liu wasn't going to make trouble, Li Yue was happy to be gracious. It really is embarrassing, Li Yue continued, sliding the gifts across the desk. My husband insisted I bring these 2 bottles for your brother as an apology, but you know how it is with fate. The kids liked each other, and Chairman Mao himself says marriage should be free and autonomous. We can't very well arrange marriages against our children's will, can we? Director Liu's mouth opened, then closed. She'd been trapped by ideology. If she argued against free choice in marriage, she A women's federation director would look like she had worse political awareness than a farm wife. Of course, marriage is free and autonomous now. Since the young man has a girlfriend, the meeting is naturally cancelled. The smile on her face could have curdled milk, but it was technically still a smile. Thank you so much, Director Liu. I'm so sorry for the trouble. Please pass the gifts along to your brother. Oh no, sister, we can't accept gifts from the people. These aren't for you. They're for your brother. It's a personal apology from my family to his. And we both know the rules. My husband is a party secretary, after all. Li Wei delivered this with the diplomatic precision of a UN ambassador, grabbed Xiaolan's arm, and swept out of the building. Gifts deposited. Face saved. Crisis neutralized. Once they were clear of the commune building, Xiaolan blinked, still dazed. That's it. It was that easy. Li Wei gave her daughter a look that said, "Child, please. Your brother is a deputy battalion commander. Same rank as the commune party secretary. What's a women's federation director going to do about it? Plus, a matchmaking meeting is a two-way agreement. One side backs out? That's perfectly normal." The Liu family had done more than necessary by showing up with liquor and apples. A less courteous family would have just sent word through the middleman and called it a day. Li Wei may not have been thrilled about her son's choice of wife, namely me, but she sure as heck wasn't going to let some women's federation director make her family look bad over it. That's the thing about my future mother-in-law. We may not see eye to eye yet, but the woman is a warrior when it comes to protecting her family's reputation. Respect. Grudging respect, but still respect. While my future mother-in-law was doing diplomatic battle at the commune office, Liu Chongzheng and I arrived in the county town, blissfully ignorant of the chaos we'd caused, and went straight to the post office. I had a letter to mail. He had a phone call to make to his military base, requesting marriage approval. Mailing a letter home? He asked. To my uncle. He's stationed in Guangxi province in the military. I decided that since we were getting married, I should at least give Liu Chongzheng a rough idea of my family situation. Not everything. I'd known this man for 2 days, but enough. Want to send a telegram to your parents about the wedding? No. My parents formally severed ties with me. I said it plainly. No details. But the implication was clear. My family was in political trouble. If he wanted to back out, now was his chance. Just then, a county government car roared past the post office, carrying 2 people bound and wearing shame placards around their necks. Liu Chongzheng's jaw tightened. He looked at me, and I could see him doing the math, imagining what the original Su Mo had been through. A girl raised like a princess, whose world shattered overnight, shipped off alone to the middle of nowhere. Don't be afraid. You have me now, he said quietly, giving my hand a quick squeeze when nobody was looking. Once things calm down, I'll help you find out how your parents are doing. I hadn't expected that. Not only was he not backing out, he was volunteering to help track down my parents. This man had known me for 48 hours and was already signing up for my family drama. Thank you, Comrade Liu. You're my wife. Your problems are my problems, said with absolute finality, like he was reading a military oath. Okay, Liu Chongzheng. You're making it really hard to maintain emotional distance here. Mailing a letter within the province cost 8 cents. To a different province? 2 8-cent stamps. Since I was planning to submit articles to newspapers across the country, I went ahead and bought 50 stamps. Plus 50 envelopes, 10 notebooks of letter paper, and 2 bottles of ink. Total, 6.48 yuan. The cost of launching my writing career. Liu Chongzheng came out from his phone call, saw my mountain of stationery, and his face lit up. He clearly assumed I'd bought 50 envelopes because I planned to write him 50 love letters while he was away at base. I did not correct him. He happily grabbed everything and carried it for me. Good. My arms were going to be full soon enough. As we walked toward the supply store, I dropped my voice. I need to buy cotton, but I don't have enough coupons.
Do you know where there's a
free market? Free market being the polite way of saying black market. Liu Chongzheng's mouth twitched. Oh, so his sweet little wife knew about black markets? The casual way I'd asked suggested this wasn't my first rodeo. He was probably imagining me navigating the Shanghai underground economy, like some kind of tiny, beautiful smuggler. I'm in uniform today, so I can't really go to that kind of place. How much cotton do you need? About 30 pounds. He looked at me like I'd asked for a live elephant. 30 pounds? What are you going to? I'm on a bicycle, not a tractor. Well, we're getting married, right? I need to make quilts. For my trousseau. I said it a little shyly. Lu Chongjing's entire being radiated joy. His cheeks practically glowed. His wife was making quilts. For their marriage. She was preparing a dowry. This wasn't one-sided at all.
She wanted this.
You don't need the black market for cotton, he said, practically bouncing. Our commune has its own collective workshop. They grow their own cotton and you can order custom bedding there. No coupons needed, just pay market price. Really? My eyes went wide. Do they make padded jackets? Too? I'm not sure, but we can ask later. Apparently the commune's current party secretary was actually competent, a rarity, and had built up the local economy significantly. Cotton production, collective workshops, no more famines. The man was doing his job. Revolutionary. We reached the county supply store. Since everyone was still busy with harvest, the place was practically empty. No lines. In 1971, an empty supply store was like finding unicorn at a bus stop. The store was just one big building with different counters for different categories. No separate shops for different goods like in Shanghai. This was a small county, after all. One-stop shopping, rural style. I marched up to the daily necessities counter with my list locked and loaded. Excuse me, comrade. I'd like 2 enamel wash basins, 2 enamel cups, 2 iron thermos bottles, 2 toothbrushes, 1 tube of toothpaste, 1 bar of fragrant soap, 1 bar of laundry soap, and 1 roll of toilet paper. The saleswoman blinked at me, then broke into a huge grin. Getting married, are we? Setting up the new home. I smiled and nodded. See, my strategy was simple. Lu Chongjing was here with his bicycle, which meant I had a pack mule. Buy everything now while I had someone to carry it. If I came back alone, the original Sumo's reputation as a delicate flower would make it weird for me to haul 20 pounds of household goods by myself. And I couldn't use my spatial dimension in public. The village aunties were watching me like hawks. A frail girl suddenly carrying industrial quantities of supplies would raise all the red flags. The saleswoman beamed at Lu Chongjing. This military comrade is your fiancé? You're both so good-looking, a perfect match. She was laying it on thick, but I could tell why. She had monthly sales targets. A bride-to-be buying her entire household setup in one go was basically Christmas morning for her commission. For the basins, cups, and thermoses, let me get you the peony and double happiness design. It's the most popular pattern. Bright, festive, very auspicious. Everyone buys this one for weddings. Sounds perfect. Listen, I'd read novels set in this era where supply store workers were rude, unhelpful, and treated customers like an inconvenience. This lady was the opposite. Enthusiastic, helpful, practically gift-wrapping everything with a bow. If Yelp existed in 1971, she'd get a glowing 5-star review from me. She lined everything up on the counter and started tallying. 2 enamel basins, 5.06 yuan. 2 enamel cups, 1.96 yuan. 2 iron thermoses, 10.80 yuan. 2 toothbrushes, 0.68 yuan. 1 toothpaste, 0.36 yuan. 1 fragrant soap, 0.50 yuan. 1 laundry soap, 0.38 yuan. 1 roll of toilet paper, 0.23 yuan. Grand total, 19.97 yuan plus 4 industrial coupons. In 1971, you needed 1 industrial coupon for every 5 yuan of manufactured goods. These coupons were distributed based on wages, roughly 1 coupon per 20 yuan of salary. They covered everything from enamel basins to umbrellas to chocolates. Because even your shopping required bureaucratic permission in this era. I paid up without hesitation. The saleswoman happily packed everything into mesh bags, handed the fragile thermoses to Lu Chongjing separately. He was now officially my human shopping cart, and then said the magic words. We just got new bed sheets and quilt covers in. Want to take a look? Yes. This woman was a genius saleswoman. She saw a bride with an open wallet, and she was not letting me leave the store without seeing every single thing in stock. I spotted bamboo baskets for sale nearby, too. Perfect. I could load everything into baskets, cover them with cloth, and nobody in the village would know exactly what I'd bought. Privacy through wicker. Brilliant. By this point, Lu Chongjing was standing behind me, arms full of mesh bags and thermos bottles, grinning like a man who'd won life's lottery. His wife was buying toothbrushes in pairs, matching enamel cups, 2 of everything, for their home. He probably would have carried a refrigerator on his back if I'd asked. While the saleswoman went to fetch bed sheets, I made a tactical detour and bought a big bamboo basket, the kind with hooks on the side that clip right onto a bicycle. 2 cents. No coupon needed. Produced by the commune's own workshop. Lu Chongjing took it from me without a word and started reorganizing everything into it like a human Tetris machine. This man was born to be a pack mule. I mean that as a compliment. The saleswoman returned with her arms full and her sales pitch loaded. This is a brand new sateen quilt cover, just arrived from the south. Look at these colors. So festive. And the print. Exquisite. I've never seen one this beautiful myself. Perfect for young newlyweds like you. We only got 2 or 3 of these, and I'm showing it to you because you seem like a woman of taste. Translation: you've been spending money like it grows on trees, and I am not letting you leave this building. Only 10.13 yuan plus 5 feet of cloth coupons. Then she whipped out the next item. And this double-sized printed bed sheet. Gorgeous pattern, very modern, just 8.45 yuan. And 5 feet of cloth coupons. I thought about it for half a second. The original Su Mo had brought a bed sheet from Shanghai, so I only needed one of each. I'll take one of each. The saleswoman's grin was so wide I could see her molars. That's 18.58 yuan and 1 zhong of cloth coupons. Want white cotton fabric too? A premium cover like this deserves quality cotton lining. Sure. How much do I need for 1 quilt cover? About 15 feet should do it. I mentally counted my cloth coupons. Just barely enough. 15 feet, please. White cotton, 0.28 yuan per foot with coupon. That's 4.20 yuan total. She measured out the fabric with practice speed, then, just before cutting, pulled the fabric out an extra 4 inches past the mark. I'll cut a little extra for you, sweetie. Cotton shrinks and stretches, and I pulled a bit tight while measuring. This way you'll have some breathing room when sewing. Professional. She wasn't just selling fabric, she was providing after-sales support. Then she folded everything neatly, wrapped all 3 pieces in oiled paper, and tied it with string. Can't have these getting dirty on the road. Total for the fabrics, 22.78 yuan, 2 zhong 5 feet of cloth coupons. I counted out my coupons. Exactly. Exactly enough. I handed over 23 yuan, got 0.22 change, and exhaled. Cloth coupons. Officially depleted. The saleswoman wasn't done. Oh, I almost forgot. Local customs says the bride should make 2 undershirts for the groom. We have ready-made ones. Saves you the trouble. She'd taken one look at me and correctly assessed that I had the sewing skills of a potato. She didn't even suggest I buy fabric to make them myself. Straight to the finished product. This woman could read people. 1.20 yuan each, 2 for 1 foot of cloth coupons. I don't have any cloth coupons left. My face went warm. A hand appeared silently from behind me. Lu Chongjing, holding out exactly 1 foot of cloth coupons. He'd been standing there the whole time, not paying for anything, because he understood that a bride buying her own trousseau wants to do it herself. But the moment I ran out of coupons, there he was. Silent. Supportive. 1 foot of cloth coupons.
No fanfare.
This man, I swear. 2 undershirts, please. Coming right up. White, both of them. 2.40 yuan, 1 foot of cloth coupons. Then the magic words. Need any candy? Yes. I looked at the saleswoman with new eyes. This woman wasn't a supply store clerk. She was a closer. A deal maker. A sales goddess trapped in a 1970s government retail job. In another era, she'd be running a multinational corporation. She'd be on the cover of Forbes. She'd be teaching masterclasses on consumer psychology. She body-checked the food counter clerk out of the way, literally hip bumped her off the stool, and took over personally. What'll it be, sweetie? Big sister will get you the best stuff. 2 pounds of egg cake, 2 pounds of fruit candy, separated into 1-pound bags. One set for Xiaowan, one for me.
Egg cake, 1.30 per pound.
Glass-wrapped fruit candy, 1.00 per pound. Total, 4.60 yuan. No coupons needed for premium snacks, one of the few mercies of the rationing system. Do you have white rabbit milk candy? I asked hopefully. Every novel set in this era mentioned white rabbit. I'd been dreaming about it. Oh honey, no. That's luxury goods. Big city only. Our little county store doesn't carry it. Even the city-level store might not have it. You'd probably need to go all the way to Harbin. My dreams, crushed. My mouth, still white rabbitless. I bought Xiaowan her enamel wash basin, galloping horse design, very majestic, asked about face cream but wasn't impressed with what they had. I'd just give Lu Xiaolan the original Su Mo's unopened jar of imported Yashuang cream instead. Way better than anything on these shelves. Then I spotted something in the fabric section, a bolt of dark brown rough-woven cloth. Homemade.
Coarse. Ugly.
What's that fabric? Oh, that's local handmade cloth. Very rough, very basic. Not suitable for someone with your delicate skin. How much per foot? I think it'd make a good work smock, wear it over my clothes while farming. Smart thinking. 0.25 yuan per foot, no coupons. There it was. The magic phrase. No coupons needed. The novels hadn't lied. This rough peasant cloth was so unpopular that it didn't require rationing tickets. Nobody wanted it. Too scratchy, too narrow, needed lots of seaming. City people would rather save up cloth coupons and buy proper cotton. But I had a plan for this fabric that had nothing to do with work smocks. How many feet in a full bolt? The saleswoman's eyebrows shot up. A full bolt? Of the stuff that hadn't moved off the shelf in months? 20 meters, about 60 feet per bolt. I'll take the whole thing. You're sure? We don't do returns, I'm sure. I thought her face might actually split in half from smiling. She grabbed the best-looking bolt and practically threw it at me. 15 yuan, sweetie. This rough cloth was perfect for making padded winter clothes for my parents at the labor camp. The outside would be this coarse peasant fabric, totally unremarkable, exactly what you'd expect someone in a labor camp to own. The inside lining would be white cotton. Warm, functional, and suspicion-proof. Lu Chongjing watched me buy an entire bolt of cheap rough cloth, and I could see the gears turning. He was putting something together. The uncle in the military, the parents who severed ties, the 23 pounds of coarse fabric that a delicate city girl had no obvious use for. But he said nothing, asked nothing, just quietly loaded the bolt onto the bicycle. Smart man. He'd wait for me to tell him when I was ready. Before we left, Lu Chongjing asked about malt nutrition powder, some fancy health drink he'd been hoping to buy for me. The saleswoman laughed. Oh, soldier, that's high-end stuff. Way too fancy for a county store. Maybe the city store carries it, but honestly, you'd probably have to go to Harbin. I hear one jar costs 30 or 40 yuan, nearly 2 pounds of powder. Who around here can afford that? We walked out of the supplies store into the afternoon sun, and the bamboo basket was absolutely stuffed. 2 enamel basins, 2 enamel cups, 2 thermoses, toiletries, a quilt, cover, a bed sheet, cotton fabric, a bolt of rough cloth, 2 undershirts, egg cakes, fruit candy, and assorted other purchases, all covered with a square of rough cloth so nobody could peek inside. If not for Lu Chongjing and his bicycle, I'd have needed a pack donkey. We hit the state-run restaurant for lunch. I spotted braised pork on the blackboard menu, and my eyes nearly popped out of my skull. Fresh meat. Real, actual, freshly cooked pork. Not cured, not canned, not reconstituted from apocalypse rations. Fresh. I want braised pork, stir-fried cabbage, and a bowl of rice, I told Lu Chongjing because obviously he was paying for the meal. We were practically married. Chivalry was expected. I was not going to fight him for the check. He nodded and added tomato egg stir-fry and a plate of pure meat dumplings. Total for both of us, 3.80 yuan and 4 liang of grain coupons. When the food arrived, I became a machine. Head down, chopsticks flying. That enormous bowl of rice?
Gone.
The braised pork? Transcendent. The chef actually knew what they were doing. Everything else was average, but that pork was a religious experience. Lu Changzhen quietly noticed that I'd eaten all the rice and barely touched the dumplings. Filed away, wife prefers rice over noodles/wheat. He was already mentally calculating how many grain coupons he'd need to trade with his army buddies to keep me supplied with rice. Their village mainly grew corn and wheat. Rice was a luxury. This man was optimizing my diet from across the table, and we hadn't even gotten the marriage certificate yet. After the meal, I remembered my debt and fished out 5 yuan. Comrade Liu, here's the 5 yuan I borrowed yesterday. He started to refuse, but I cut him off. I borrowed that before I was your girlfriend. That debt stands. Pay up. He took the money looking amused. Doesn't matter anyway, he was probably thinking. Once we're married, all money is her money. Just moving it from one pocket to the other. But he was impressed. Good character. Borrows and repays. A trustworthy comrade. That's right, soldier. You're getting a quality wife. And she comes with her own enamel basins. After lunch, we hit the photography studio. Because apparently we were speedrunning this entire relationship. Met Monday, proposed Tuesday, wedding photos Wednesday. The photographer offered 2 options, a big studio camera or a Seagull 120. The 120 had better image quality and wider frames. Lu Changzhen, naturally, chose the premium option. Only the best for his wife's face. This man's priorities were locked in. Pricing, 0.43 yuan per shot, which included 1/6 by 6 centimeters print. Extra copies were 0.30 each. Enlargements were a whole yuan. We took 2 couple shots, one sitting, one standing, plus a solo portrait of me. Lu Changzhen ordered extra copies of all 3, plus enlargements of both couple photos. Total damage, 4.19 yuan. He was absolutely going to plaster those photos all over his military barracks. I could already picture him casually leaving an enlarged portrait of us on his desk like, oh, this? Just my wife. No big deal. Yes, she's stunning. Yes, I'm a lucky man. Please contain your jealousy. Photos ready in 3 days. Our relationship was on a tighter production schedule than a Hollywood movie. We headed back to the commune to check out the collective workshop about the quilts. Lu Changzhen tried to find Xiaolan at the supply store first, but she'd taken the afternoon off, with her mother. He immediately understood. They'd gone to cancel the matchmaking meeting. Another supply store worker, upon learning he was Xiaolan's brother and a military officer, enthusiastically volunteered to escort us to the workshop. Being related to the right people opened doors in 1971 the same way LinkedIn connections do in the future. The collective workshop was like a 1970s artisan village. Carpentry shop, blacksmith shop, oil press, sewing cooperative, cotton processing center. All the commune's skilled craftspeople gathered in one place. When there was work, they came in and got paid daily wages. When there wasn't, they went back to farming. During slow seasons, the workshop took on manufacturing contracts or produced goods for sale. It was actually a pretty clever setup, brought in revenue for the commune, gave skilled workers extra income, and solved the problem of rural people having nowhere to buy stuff. Someone in commune leadership actually had a functioning brain. Rare and refreshing. I explained my needs to the production manager, and he immediately said yes. Don't you worry, Comrade Sue. This year's fresh cotton just came in. We'll use only the newest harvest for yours. Our craftsmen have 20, 30 years of experience. The quilts they make are soft, warm. The mattress pads are perfectly balanced, firm but breathable. Sleeping on them is like floating on a cloud. Sir, they're quilts, not magic carpets. Please calm down. I trust our commune's craftsmen completely, I said with a smile. Could you calculate the cost? Of course. Serving the people. So that's 2 7-pound double quilts and 2 3-pound double mattress pads. Correct. 20 pounds of cotton total. At the supply store, cotton is 1.15 yuan per pound with coupons. But the commune secretary's policy is that workshop cotton doesn't require coupons for commune members, just market price. You're an educated youth assigned to our commune, so you're one of us. 20 pounds at 1.15, that's 23 yuan. Labor, 1.50 per quilt, 1.00 per mattress pad. For items, 5 yuan total. Grand total, 28 yuan. Ready in 3 days. I paid, took my receipt, and then casually dropped. Can the workshop also make padded winter clothes? The manager blinked. Villagers normally bought cotton and fabric separately and sewed their own winter clothes at home. This wasn't a standard service. But then his revenue for the commune instincts kicked in. Serving the people. If the people need it, we can do it. Just bring your own fabric from the supply store. Perfect. I now had a professional sewing operation that could make winter clothes for my parents without me needing to learn tailoring from scratch. All I needed was more fabric and cotton. On the ride back, I did the math in my head and nearly fell off the bicycle. Post office, 6.48 yuan. Supply store, 62.65 yuan. Workshop, 28 yuan. Photography studio, 4.19 yuan. Lunch, 3.80 yuan. Lu Chongjing's treat, but still. My spending today, 97.13 yuan. In one day, I'd burned through nearly 100 yuan. That's almost 10% of my entire cash supply. At this rate, I'd be broke by spring. Money in 1971 was like ice cream in summer. It looked like a lot until you actually started using it, and then it just melted. The silver lining, most of what I bought were durable goods. Enamel basins and thermoses last for years. Quilts last a decade. This was front-loaded spending. Hopefully. My mental shopping list still had items on it, though. I needed winter padded clothes for 3 people, me, mom, and dad. About 10 more pounds of cotton and 19 more feet of fabric with coupons. I remembered reading that registering a marriage in this era came with a fabric coupon bonus. No idea how much, but every scrap of cloth coupon counted now that mine were completely gone. And I still needed to visit the black market. Today was a bust because Lu Chongjing was in full military uniform. You can't exactly stroll into an underground marketplace with your nation's armed forces logo on your chest. That would need to be a solo trip. Lu Chongjing took a quiet back road to the dormitory to avoid nosy villagers cataloging our purchases. Smart. He helped me unload everything at my door, then prepare to head home. His grandfather was alone and needed watching. But first, the daily marriage update. Wife, I'm sending my mother to formally propose tomorrow. Fine, but I have to work tomorrow. It'll have to be after I'm done for the day. His eyebrows scrunched. You just recovered from being sick. Skip work. Those work points don't matter. I can take care of you. I've already taken too many days off. People will talk. So? You're marrying the party secretary's son. Who's going to say something? Exactly. That's why I need to show up. I don't want people saying I'm already acting entitled before I've even married in. It's just peanut pulling, it's light work. What I didn't tell him. Pulling peanuts meant being surrounded by peanut plants. Peanut plants meant plant energy. Plant energy meant leveling up my wood element superpower. I wasn't going to work for the work points. I was going for the all-you-can-eat energy buffet. Then I'll come help you pull peanuts tomorrow. He said it like it was the most natural thing in the world. Help wife first, then help mom. New priority order. Effective immediately. After he left, I sorted through the day's haul. Xiaozhuan's egg cake and wash basin went on her bedding. Toothbrush, toothpaste, soap, set up and ready for immediate use tomorrow morning. Hallelujah! I could finally brush my teeth like a civilized human being. The wedding-themed items, the double happiness enamel basins, matching cups, festive thermoses, stayed hidden in the bamboo basket under the rough cloth cover. No need to broadcast that I was setting up a marital household when the proposal hadn't even formally happened yet. For washing up, I'd borrow Xiaozhuan's basin for the next few days. Not that I actually needed it. Once I was behind the bathroom partition, I'd just pull my plastic bucket out of my spatial dimension like a normal interdimensional time traveler. I sat on my straw mat, mentally tallying up everything. Today's spending, 100 yuan. Remaining cash, 930 yuan. Items still needed. Winter clothes, more cotton, black market supplies, fabric. Days until parents arrive at labor camp. 2 weeks. Days until Lu Chongjing leaves for base. 15. Days until formal proposal. 1. Teeth brushed today. 0. But tomorrow that changes forever. Priorities, people. Priorities.